Hello, you jackasses. Holy fuck. What a shit fuck of a day. I was working on my fucking motorcycle again, the Ural. Good news is the new throttle position sensor I got works. It's compatible with the bike and it's working. There's something that was I tried riding a little bit with Isaac and then I couldn't because there's something like massively draining the battery super quickly. There's like some open like what is it? Either like some circuit was open or whatever. So I fixed that. I took out the GPS wiring harness because I thought it was probably something to do with that. And then I just disconnected the battery, reconnected it. It's not draining anymore. It's idling properly, you know. That's all good. The fucking rear brake linkage is stuck, and holy shit. Some of the way that bike is put together, like, you have to be a fucking, like, just sadistic psychopath. One way to get the linkage out is by just like, you know, getting the master cylinder out of the way. So I tried just undoing the master cylinder. For whatever fucking reason, the master cylinder doesn't just bolt into the frame. There's a bolt and then there's like a screw that holds the master cylinder together on the frame. So you'd think that wouldn't be too big of a fucking deal, but one, the weird way the like screw thing is positioned, like the nut is positioned, it's really hard to get to. Turns out it's not a nut. It's just a fucking cylinder. Like it's literally a circle. So I don't know how they even fucking put it on. They must have gotten like vice grip pliers or something and then twisted it on. But like the only way to get to it is to take off the entire fucking swing arm. So, and that's a bigger deal on that bike than a lot of other bikes too, because you have to take off the wheel, you have to disconnect the drive shaft, and then you can, and I think there's other steps too. There's you have to disconnect the drive shaft, you have to disconnect the other drive shaft because it's two-wheel drive, and then you have to, and then you get access to the swing arm. But then on top of that, there's some wiring and stuff that goes down the swing arm. So you also have to like clip some of the stupid zip ties off. It would be a huge pain in the ass. So now I have to look for like some weird specialty tools, like needle nose vice grip pliers, to see if I can clamp it down hard enough. I don't know why they did that. All they needed to do is put a fucking hex nut on the one side. What is your problem? Are you insane? Like every other fucking bike. It like the fucking rear brake master cylinder, you just unbolt it. There's like threads in the frame for it. That, not only is there not threads on the frame, they didn't even use fucking nuts. It's just some circle. Like, it's crazy. So that didn't work. Then I had to, I I had to get out the clevis pins for the linkage, and they're snap-on clevis pins, but because of all the like rust and grit and stuff that like happened in the winter, holy shit, it took me like 2 fucking hours to just fucking remove the clevis pins. And then I couldn't even take the fucking linkage apart even after I got the clevis pins off, because the fucking like cam thing for the fucking return spring is also like basically glued on because of like the rust and grit and stuff from the fucking winter. So I sprayed on some WD-40. I'm going to let that like seep in, and then tomorrow I'm going to try to get it off, but holy shit. Just every step of the way. Just so annoying. So, that's what I've been doing today. That master cylinder thing, though, is like actually psychotic. I don't know what kind of insane, delusional freak. I've never even seen anything like that. I've never seen a nut that is literally a fucking circle in my life. I didn't know they made those. And then, for whatever fucking reason, on that bike, they decided to, like, use some weird, obscure fucking fastener that nobody uses anywhere ever for the fucking master cylinder.
Hey, everyone.
So we talked about Jeffrey Epstein not that long ago, and at the end of that video, I told you guys, if there's something I haven't seen yet, send it to me. There's new material, new interviews, new angles. I will weigh in from a mortuary science perspective, if I can. And, well, I was sent something that I had not seen, and I was glad it was sent. I recently watched an interview on Megyn Kelly's podcast where Jeffrey Epstein's brother appeared as a guest. And during that interview, he shared autopsy photos of Jeffrey Epstein, including one of his neck area. I had never seen it before. I can't believe I've never seen it before. Why aren't we talking about this? Because when I saw it, I paused. I actually questioned.
Actually insane video.
Let me see. Only in the UK. Palestine action activist cleared of aggravated charges after break-in at Israeli defense firm. They broke in. The whole, like, there's no basis for any of this protesting. Like, it's just psychotic, insane nonsense. It's on video. How did he get cleared? It's literally on fucking video. He attacked a fucking cop with a fucking hammer. How? How? They literally attacked the police with a fucking hammer.
Emerging after 18 months in custody, one of the most emotive and divisive trials in recent memory, with a jury just as torn.
So his defense team probably got a bunch of Muslim jurors, I can guarantee you. There was probably at least 3 or 4 Muslim jurors, and they refused to fucking change their answer. They probably gaslit and manipulated some of the other jurors, and then the few that were still saying, like, no, he's guilty, they didn't want to spend like weeks, you know, doing this bullshit, so they're just like, fine, whatever. This is crazy.
And speaking of Palestine,
let me see. None of them care. Literally none of them care. They're all like, oh, yalla, he's murdered. He's gonna get 79 virgins now. Oh, yeah. Like, they don't care. It's all bullshit. None of them fucking care. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
It was in the early hours of August the 6th last year that 6 members of Palestine Action crashed through a warehouse door in a retired police van and into a factory based in Filton near Bristol, owned by the subsidiary of an Israeli arms firm, Elbit Systems.
I'm leaving. Okay, leave that.
Emerging dressed in red jumpsuits and carrying sledgehammers, they filmed themselves smashing equipment they believed was to be used in Gaza before being confronted by 3 security guards, one here wearing black. The police are...
I would have fucking smashed those bitches. Just absolutely fucking annihilated them. Dude, if I was the security guard there, they wouldn't be able to fucking walk. Probably ever again. Unless there's some medical breakthrough.
Arrived moments later. The prosecution argued the 6 defendants were meticulously organised and there to cause as much damage as possible, carrying weapons to threaten or, if necessary, harm anyone who got in their way.
If you swing that once more at me, it's going to get really serious.
The defence instead said they hadn't expected to be confronted by security guards and were completely out of their depth.
It's time to leave.
All 6 were accused of aggravated burglary, criminal damage and violent disorder, but today at Woolwich Crown Court, all 6 were found not guilty of aggravated burglary, with 3 of them, Jordan Devlin.
You saw the video. Like, this has to be the first time ever in fucking history where, like, the crime is literally caught on video and then the jury doesn't convict. Like, if O.J. Simpson had been caught on video, he'd be convicted. But, like, this, like, it has to be Muslim jurors. Has to be.
Fatima Rajwani and Zoe...
Yeah, who the fuck were the jurors? They had to have been Muslim.
Rogers...
The only fucking way is the jury all bullshitted and lied and just said not guilty for ideological reasons.
Found not guilty of violent disorder. On all other counts, the jury was hung, including on the additional count of GBH against Samuel Corner.
Get your hands out now!
Corner was accused of fracturing the spine of Police Sergeant Kate Evans.
So again, that lines up entirely with my theory that this is an ideologically motivated jury. Like, since they're hung on all other charges, really? You're hung on the fucking burglar, like the breaking and entering? When you saw them smash through the fucking building? You're hung on the fucking property damage charge when you see them smashing property? So this is an ideologically motivated jury who are all fucking insane liars.
Evans, seen here at the top of the screen. The defence lawyer for the 23-year-old argued that he had chemical spray in his eyes, that he never meant to use violence and was trying to protect a co-defendant, who you see here shouting out during an altercation with another police officer. He approaches P.S. Evans as she assists the arrest on all fours, bringing the sledgehammer down on her back.
It's on camera! It's on camera!
P.S. Evans told the court she had to take 3 months off work after an x-ray showed a lumbar spine fracture and that she was still on restricted duties a year later. She said Corner had told her following his handcuffing that she was complicit in genocide. All 6 defendants argued that they'd set out only to damage weapons and stop the factory operating. All
Okay, dude. The UK is, like, done. Like, literally done. If you can have, like, such an open and shut case where literally everything was fucking filmed, and then they can't get a conviction, You don't have a society anymore. You have a bunch of ideologically motivated fucking crazy people living in your fucking country. And the rule of law is just done. So, like, next time, again, there's going to be some fucking crazy wacko who fucking shoots up a synagogue. Well, guess what's going to fucking happen? Oh, hung jury. I don't know. It was on camera and I saw him shooting the gun, but was it self-defense? I don't know. I don't think there's enough evidence. And it's because there's like 3 or 4 Muslim jurors who are all fucking crazy jihadists. This is what's going on. So, like, holy fuck. You know, if any country is going to go into like some crazy like civil war or something, and they're going to start rioting, and you're going to see like race riots where like minority, areas are just like getting Molotoved, it's going to be the fucking UK that does that first. Holy shit.
Apart from Samuel, Corner were released on bail today. Their supporters gathered outside
That is
the
crazy.
court.
Now the defendants.
Yeah, and all fucking TikTok watching fucking dumb bitch women and, of course, like just Muslim jihadist anti-Semites.
Debate at the heart of this trial over intention. One defence barrister compared his client to the suffragettes. Another said hers had been acting out of compassion for the people of Gaza.
So how does smashing a cop's, like literally breaking a cop's spine with a sledgehammer help a single person in fucking Gaza? And again, like this is just like regardless of why they're doing it, they broke the fucking law. Doesn't fucking matter. So, like, if you're going to consider any of this a mitigating circumstance, then that would be something for the judge to decide during sentencing. Like, the fucking jurors who, like, said not guilty, they should all be in jail. They did not they lied during jury duty. They were not impartial. They should all be in jail.
And then towards the end of the trial, a note was passed from jury to judge, asking whether, if the defendants had genuinely thought they were saving lives by breaking equipment, they could be found not guilty of criminal damage. The judge said no and repeated
There you go. They were ideologically motivated.
what he said at the outset of the trial, that the case must be judged on the evidence alone, regardless of whether the defendants or the jury, for that matter.
They were literally asking the judge how to get out of not charging them. This jury was ideologically motivated. They should have just restarted the trial and chosen a different jury when they handed that note.
Believed that they were morally justified.
Today's case is a blow for the CPS, which will spend the next week deciding whether or not to seek a retrial.
Yeah.
A further 18 defendants are yet to be tried this year on charges.
Do a retrial and make sure you get fucking white dudes and Jewish people on the fucking jury. So if it's white dudes, preferably who have not gone to college, and Jews, you'll get the conviction. So stop putting Muslims on the fucking jury because they're fucking crazy. They shouldn't have been in the fucking country in the first place. And they're all fucking traitors. The UK's done. What a stupid country. $8 you will be happy to know that if the most insufferable people you gave ever debated took a shot and begged to debate Professor Dave after Dave insulted Jay. Now he is getting dunked on. Can we watch?
Hey, everyone.
Yeah. I was actually planning on watching that tonight. I already had that ready. Thanks for the donation, eh? Dodo, donate $3. Let me see.
They deported us to Tel Aviv. So 3 days and a half, I want to say, I was handcuffed and shackled. And we got deported in a private jet. They separated me from my son. Just being far away from them is really hard for them and is really hard for me.
When, I'm a fucking baby. I was in the country illegally and I'm a fucking Muslim and I want to destroy the United States. But when they deported me, fuck you, little fucking bitch.
And my son right now, he's growing up without a father. I
Good. You're a piece of shit. Fuck you. Get deported, bitch.
traveled to USA in November 4th, 2016. I went there to study and work with my family. My family owns a shawarma place in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I was working there my whole time when I was there, and I got my high school diploma. Then I met my wife over there.
Dude, why is every white woman like a fucking insane retard?
Then we decided to be together and just build a good future with each other.
Holy shit.
One time I was home, then I left home for like almost 10 minutes. Then I came home, I was surprised my door was busted open. First thing I did, I called the cops. And when I called the cops, 25, and I got released on February. It was really terrible. There's no food, it was just bread and apple. And it
Last I checked, bread and apples is food, retard. Oh, shit. They don't have any fucking deep-fried falafels in prison. Oh, where?
There was no mattresses, no blankets, no showers, and it was in Arizona.
Is he literally complaining about just being in a holding cell at a police station and only being able to eat bread and apples? Like, okay, this guy's a whiny bitch. Yeah, gross. Ugly. Yeah, get fucked. Like, these people are dipshits. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Oh, you don't hold that same perspective when there's literal footage of the IOF murdering Palestinian children.
Nobody cares. Go cry about it somewhere else.
Why do you always say girls have no hobbies, don't watch anime and don't play video games when you used to complain a lot about how your, redacted, was literally addicted to video games? Gaming is also a hobby. That seems quite contradictory.
No. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Tips for hypertrophy? I did 6 sets/muscle/week. High intensity. I had 175 grams protein a week but also was in a big caloric deficit, 500 plus cal, to lose weight. I saw big strength gains but very little size gains.
Well, one, I'm assuming you're natural, so I don't know what you expect to gain if you're not on steroids. Yeah, you're not going to gain 20 pounds of muscle. Secondly, you were only doing 6 sets per muscle per week. That's pretty low. Most people will probably get the majority of the results doing around 10 sets per muscle group per week. But there's not technically any upper limit to the benefit you get from extra training volume. So really, the more the better within the context of being able to recover from the training. So if you can handle 20 sets and you're able to recover from the next session and you're not getting like some kind of injury or something from that amount of training stress, that is going to be better. You're going to grow more. So the more the better. You only did 6 sets, which again is on the low end. I would push more towards 10 sets. And you're also in a deficit. So again, as a natural, with doing fairly low training volumes in a deficit, how much do you expect to build? Like, you're just not going to grow all that much. Thanks for the donation, though, Matthew.
Yesterday Frank deleted a bunch of shorts, including the ones about Paul. Surprise again. For some reason, he not deleted, but private them, and now public again, you can tell by the upload date. Plus made a new one.
I think he still deleted the Paul one, or it's private. He's, just insane.
Who is this guy? Is he a
CIA agent? No.
CIA agent? How connected do you have to be to get a judge to issue a court order against someone without even holding them to trial. I called out this guy, and
There was a trial, you lost by default judgment. Like, Frank is insane. His crackpot legal theories are probably even more insane than like sovereign citizens. He thinks that if you lose by default judgment, a court can't order you to do something. And the reason he lost by default judgment is because he wouldn't show up for his fucking court dates. So he didn't have a lawyer representing him, he didn't bother showing up to court, and then he just lost by default judgment. And then Frank thinks, oh, they can't order anything because the trial didn't happen. I only lost by default. You can't do a court order. So you're literally telling me anybody can just refuse to show up to their fucking court dates, and then the court can't compel them after the fucking default judgment? So if you have like a fucking libel lawsuit or anything, like it could be like some sort of personal injury suit, the court can't order you to do anything just as long as you don't show up to your fucking court date? Does that make any sense? Like, he's fucking insane.
a judge shut me up just like that. Silence
I honestly don't even think sovereign citizens would believe something so stupid like this. They show up for their fucking court dates. Last I checked. They say stupid shit when they're in court. Like, I'm a traveler. I don't consider myself the person on my birth certificate. They say stupid shit, but they show up for their court dates. This fucking idiot doesn't show up for his court dates, and he thinks that makes him entitled to do whatever the fuck he wants, and the court can't compel some sort of action against him.
my freedom of speech. No trial, no conviction, no nothing. Just, Frank, you cannot talk about Paul Saladino, and that's that. I've never seen anything like that happen in my life. I've never seen a judge so blatantly disregard the rules of the court that in the 6 years of this case going on...
Yeah, and Frank Tufano's the utmost legal expert. I've got Miss Vicky's original, and I've got Munchie's barbecue. Those are the potato chips we're having tonight. I needed some potato chips to relieve some of the stress from working on that bike. Holy fuck. It really fucks with my head when I start working on something and then, like, just because of so many fucking setbacks, like, I can't finish it. It just drains me. And I also, like, barely ate anything in the last few days.
Not one ruling has been done in my favor. So, really, who is this guy? Apparently he's a medically trained psychiatrist. Now he's a carnivore diet influencer. But really, really strange stuff with the people he's had in his videos and all these connections. Who knows? Who is this guy?
All right, well, Frank is stupid. Thanks for the donation, though, one.
Tionton, who cares about the deaths of a bunch of worthless Nazi children?
I sure as fuck don't. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Will Mage $20. This was New York City this morning, lol. Adam, Adan blast through streets. Ron Mondani, Shriadon is here. Oh, are they doing that?
Here is Atlantic. We are hearing Azan. Come here.
As soon as that shit would happen in my neighborhood, guess what? Well, blasting it on a fucking speaker system so it drowns out the fucking Muslim prayer. Prophet Muhammad's a child rapist. So if they want to play that game, I'll play it right back. Thanks for the donation, Will Mage.
Be careful, the GSJWs who hate white people might call you racist. For saying white people and not Arabs should be judges.
Well, the types of people who'd call me racist are also the types of people nobody takes seriously. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Which of your historical antagonists, Leafy Shear, Reap Zion, Frank Tofano, etc., pissed you off the most or was the most frustrating to deal with?
I would say Penguin Zero pissed me off the most, just because of how fucking insanely dishonest he is. He is the single most dishonest person I've ever interacted with in my life. Repzion would come second because he almost got my channel deleted with fraudulent copyright strikes. Like, that irritated the ever-loving fuck out of me, like you can't believe. But thanks for the donation, Matthew. I donate $2. Take a look at what this Muslim says.
All right, so...
let me take a guess. It has something to do with child rape or that it's okay to murder people who you disagree with.
Zubaydah, should we ignore Zios if they spew nonsense? Or should we address them?
Okay, so it's the latter. It's okay to murder people I disagree with.
So again,
answers, don't just answer. Zubaydah, answer. Zubaydah, answer.
Bro, when we talk about Zionists, we're talking about people that are actively killing and unaliving.
Okay, David's actively ripping Qurans.
Yeah, David's doing worse than that.
Wait, David's doing worse.
Someone like that.
Zubaydah, let us talk. Zubaydah, let us talk.
I let you speak. You're not letting me speak.
No, you made your point. I asked you about the Zios. That's the convo. You said that Zios are actively doing this, and that.
Yeah, I'm saying killing Muslims.
I'm saying what David's doing is worse than what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true. It's worse.
Whoa!
Islamically.
Thaddeus, do you know who this is who's agreeing with him?
I'm not sure who the other guy is for sure, but it's another TikTok Muslim. And yeah, they agree. Ripping a Quran is worse than killing Muslims, apparently.
Wait, but I'm...
Okay, well, I guess killing Muslims isn't that bad then, according to him. He said it, not me. Have you tried C4 Mango Fugo? No. The only flavors they've had here is the blue raspberry, the purple popsicle, orange bombsicle, and orange popsicle, and the Hawaiian Punch. Those are the only ones I've ever seen here. And I think Walmart, I saw it one time, they had the Jolly Rancher watermelon flavor. I didn't try that one yet. Depressed and Repressed donated $3. Let me see.
Including by European leaders, is that the 7th of October, the crimes that were committed on October 7 were because of anti-Semitism. This is so false. I mean, I do not exclude that there could be anti-Semitic sentiments.
They murdered innocent people on the basis of them being Jewish. Like, are you out of your... like, how in the fuck could you say this isn't fueled by anti-Semitism? Like, it's just outrageously fucking retarded.
Among some Palestinians. Who am I?
This is someone on the UN. Like the UN is a complete fucking joke. Like, fuck the United Nations. By the way, UN peacekeepers, they're all rapists. Anywhere UN peacekeepers go, there's suddenly this massive skyrocket in reported rapes. I remember seeing a Vice documentary where I think it was in Sudan or something. They were talking, they literally interviewed every single woman they came across and asked them about the UN peacekeepers. Yeah, they raped me. Yeah, they're rapists. A bunch of them held me down and gang raped me, like, literally for all night. Like, those are the stories you hear. So the UN is made up of anti-Semitic, like, fucking fascist whack jobs, and UN peacekeepers are fucking rapists. And then they they have the audacity to complain about the Israeli military. What? The one fucking Israeli soldier guy shoved a fucking banana or a cucumber up or a flashlight up some dude's ass once, and we know why he did it. Like, what's the excuse of the fucking UN peacekeepers? So, like, again, everyone fucking whines and complains about the IDF. One guy got a flashlight shoved up his ass because the fucking Israeli soldier was pissed off at October 7th. And the one prisoner is literally a Hamas member who probably is, like, directly related with killing his own family members. And then everyone loses their fucking mind. And then, like, UN peacekeepers, like, are literally in an area for 2 weeks. And then every fucking woman you come across has a story about getting raped by UN peacekeepers. No one says shit. Like, fuck, just, you know, fuck all these people. Fucking hate them. Thanks for the donation to Pressed and Repressed.
Hey man, ex-Muslim here. I do agree with you on everything about Islam being a cult and a violent one at that. But I think you have a very aggressive approach about it, like you have zero empathy for even normal Muslim people like they are subhuman.
Well... Yeah. There's no such thing as normal Muslim. It's like saying there's a normal person who fucking practices voodoo and witchcraft. They're fucking retarded. So, like, like, how can you be, like, considered a normal fucking person if you worship a child rapist warlord who lived, what, 1,500 fucking years ago? Like, it's just fucking dumb. And, like, to make things worse, it's not like they even have a really good holiday like Christmas. You don't eat for, like, a week or two. What is it, 2 weeks or something? You're supposed to fast? That's their holiday. You starve yourself. Happy holidays. You get no food. So... they have a fucking religion that explicitly, outright fucking tells them, murder non-believers, Jews are particularly evil, make sure you kill all of them, it's okay to rape women, like, it's okay to have fucking slaves, you get fucking, 82 virgins or something in heaven if you fucking murder people, and then you're normal if you believe that? So, no, there's no such thing as a fucking normal Muslim. They're all fucking crazy. There's only 2 types of Muslims. Muslims who commit terror attacks, and Muslims who cover for the Muslims who commit terror attacks. So, they're all crazy. And again, do you see any of these people in these Muslim communities, saying... oh, these parts in the Quran, they're wrong. We don't believe in that. Like these religious extremists need to be reformed. Obviously, the Prophet Muhammad shouldn't have married a 6-year-old and raped her when she was 9. Obviously, it wasn't you never hear any of that because as soon as they say that, they're ostracized from their fucking community. A lot of them are fucking honor killed and murdered. And like the amount of death threats they fucking get is crazy. So they all support violent extremism. And again, there's 2 types of Muslims. There's Muslims who commit the violent extremism, and there's the Muslims who cover for them, won't speak out against it, and will apologize for it. So it's horseshit. There's no such thing as like being normal and having those kinds of stupid fucking beliefs. Thanks for the donation, Amdo.
What's your experience with girls not being into video games and not having hobbies when the one you were with, that's literally all she did? Are you going to stop saying girls aren't into video games and have no hobbies? Or clarify? Thanks.
Well... look, everyone called her Bill Gates for a reason. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Tionton, you know what? This might sound extreme. But if hell exists, I hope those Nazi children are currently burning in IT.
Goddamn right. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
My dessert as of late has been raisins with walnuts and almonds. Maybe you should try that instead of snacking on chips and cookies and you'd manage to get ripped.
Thanks for the donation, 21st. Dodo donated $2. Yes. That is Pan Bondi. U.S. job numbers were revised down by 1 million jobs in 2025, largest annual revision in at least 20 years. Well, yeah. Well, and by the way, when you see horse shit like this, and then they're like talking about the stock market being up, and there's GDP growth. Well, your average American isn't, like, they're not seeing those benefits. So the wealth is just climbing to the top like never fucking before. Would you eat the slop?
Here are 3 traditional street food snacks that you've got to try in Mumbai. The first one is Sev Puri, for which these crispy wheat crackers are covered with onions, potatoes and spices. And a mint and chili chutney, crispy sev, a tamarind and a red garlic chutney, then let it rain more of the sev, some fresh coriander and lemon juice before this street food icon is
That looks kind of stupid.
ready to go. Then there's India's original flavor bomb, called Pani Puri. For this, vendors crack open these crispy dough balls and fill them with either a white pea curry or a mixture of potatoes and mung beans. They're then flavored with a sweet and tangy tamarind chutney before being dunked into the pani, a spicy iced mint water that might set
That looks good.
your brain on fire, but will make this your favorite chart of all. And finally, there's Rakta Patis. It's a complex masterpiece of 3 different elements. First, a creamy white pea curry that is spiced to perfection. Second, cooked potatoes that are flavored with very finely chopped herbs and stuffed with flavored green peas before being turned into patties that are fried until golden. And third, all of the traditional chaat toppings, like 3 different chutneys and extra spices that are given a mix before being topped with the remaining essentials for the true underdog of Mumbai's chaat culture.
I'm high right now. Yeah, it just kicked in. I can't even remember what I saw. Totally zoned out there. If you are going to put my name on your fake Epstein list DOJ letter, then redact all 31 pages of the file with my name on it. What is there to hide? A former congresswoman. The fuck? So, yeah, that makes... This was probably deliberate, too, by the way. Yeah, that's just what Trump does. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Draw VG grasping a firm cock. However, draw his hand in an inverted position where the thumb and index is closest to the shaft, as opposed to the pinky being close to shaft. This is a very important detail and I am counting on you to draw accurately, Plaza sir.
Okay, I can do that for you, gig. Oh. Okay. Okay, there you go, Gig. Thanks for the donation.
Where does Coach Colton rank on that list of people among Reap Zion Penguins, Zero Leafy, Shea, Scott Mendelson, Greg Doucette and so on?
He's at the very top. Yeah, I hate Penguin Zero most of all. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo donated $2.
Kennedy says that's largely because we don't know the health consequences of what we're eating, thanks to the grass exemption enacted by Congress in 1958 that allows food companies to independently verify the safety of their ingredients with no government oversight if they are generally recognized by experts as safe. Pending White House approval, he intends to close that back door.
That loophole was hijacked by...
It's not a loophole. This is a whole scam. So basically what they're trying to do is have complete control over the food and drug market. And a way to do that is basically by having this like stupid, goalpost that you have to reach. Where, oh, let's create a roadblock. You have to get government approval. What does that entail? Money, 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 money. So you give the government a bunch of fucking money, and then, they get what they want. And then what happens is, if they donate to your political campaign, and there's a rival company who might disrupt the market, oh, well, let me help you out with that. And then they'll stop them from being able to release their product. Like, this is what this all is.
By the industry. And it was used to add thousands upon thousands of new ingredients into our food supply. In Europe, there's only 400 legal ingredients. This agency does not know how many ingredients there are in American food.
We do not know.
They do not know. The estimates are between 4,000 and 10,000. We have no idea what they are.
How do we know what is safe?
Yeah.
If it hypothetically turned out that, we discovered, actually eating human meat of this specific race of humans, no, this is hypothetical, right? If it turned out that a specific race of human was very nutritious, very good for your health, it actually added like 10 years to your life. Would you support holocausting those people and turning them into sandwiches?
No, absolutely not. No. I wouldn't even do that for some animals. I know people that do that, and I would not do that, no.
Yeah, so you wouldn't do that to humans, but you say you would eat animals for your own benefit. So now the question is, what do you think is so different between us and animals that justifies killing animals for our benefit, but not humans?
The way how God talks about it in the Bible, and that is the only way. And he talks.
Yeah. So according to the Bible, I can smash you over the head with a fucking baseball bat for what you're wearing. So.
About it in the New Testament that it is good. He comes to change to make things
fucking
good for
idiot.
that reason, and that is my only reason.
What's your argument for concluding that the Bible is true?
Because God is real. That is why.
God is real. Okay. And what's your argument for that?
If it wasn't, then life would be fair, and it's unfair. Everything is unfair because God.
Yeah, if I was Harry, I would say, yeah, well, I think some of your brain leaked out into your boobs, and that's why they're so big, and now your brain doesn't work so good because it's in your boobs. What a bitch. Let's see, watch the whole video.
So I had an asthma attack in Bohemian, Cuba. And I just really needed some relief and some salbutamol. They don't have any salbutamol because they can't get it in the United States. But this they have. And I walked in the door, they only asked me my name and my age. And they put me on this. And it's helping a lot. So I got here to Holguin, Cuba, and I got an asthma attack. And I was looking every
So this is all staged, obviously.
Everywhere for this drug, salbutamol, which is very common around the world, but very different.
So, like, by the way, this isn't an excuse. Iran is prohibited from trading with pretty much any fucking country. So their whole pharmaceutical system is separate from, you know, the rest of the world. They have to make their own drugs. They can't import anything. One of the reasons why I know that is because a lot of Iranian growth hormone comes onto the black market and bodybuilders buy it, which is kind of stupid because the Iranian growth hormone, it's not up to like FDA pharmaceutical standards. It's basically at best equivalent to underground growth hormone, but the like good underground growth hormone from China, it's actually better than the pharma growth hormone from Iran. So if Iran can make their own fucking, you know, medications and medical supplies, why can't Cuba? So Iran's blocked from trading. They can't get in any, you know, medical, like medication from like pretty much any country. So why can't Cuba? Oh, well, Cuba's communist.
Difficult for Cuba because they have to import it. It's very important for asthmatics to have salbutamol to stop an attack. I came into this polyclinic here, the polyclinic.
Well, I guess that shows communism ain't so great.
Maximo Gomez, and they asked my name and my age, and then they immediately put me on some medications that I breathed in to clear my. Thank you very much.
They're in fucking Cuba, dude. Like, how does anybody take Code Pink seriously? Netanyahu gave a speech today in which he blamed anti-Semitism on envy of the Jews. I doubt it's envy. Systemic slaughter of Palestinians, mass murder of children. Yeah. So, literally before any of this, the fucking Mufti of Palestine was trying to convince Hitler to Holocaust the Jews in Palestine. So, no, it's probably the fucking dirty Jews with their dirty Jew money and their dirty Jew education and their dirty Jew technology. They think they're better than our mud and straw? Like, yeah, so that's what it is. Thanks for that donation, Dodo.
Yes, dude, there are normal Muslim people just like the Iranians you support. 90% of them are Muslim, they just aren't religious fanatics. There are many more such people in the world, so please stop treating all Muslims as subhuman trash, that's all.
No. Thanks for that donation, Amdo.
To be fair, Christians fast for over a week sometimes too.
Yeah, but not because they're gonna get their head cut off if they don't. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Dodo, I do agree with you that all CEOs should burn in hell if existed. The only good CEO is a dead CEO.
Well, too bad Muslims are so bad at killing Jews. Thanks for the donation, Ton.
NGL bro, I feel like if I was sitting beside you and you started getting upset, you turn on me and snap my neck. XD, have you gotten angrier since the roids? Also, ever thought of doing a Toronto meetup?
If anything, the steroids have made me more calm. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do fan meetups in the future. Toronto's a bit of a far drive for me at this point. Maybe in Ottawa. I'll see if anybody's around. Then if like decent amount of people show up, I might just drive to Toronto, do one. Thanks for the donation, Matthew.
I remember a while ago you said Penguins Zero lost a debate to Sneeko on age of consent. So I finally looked into it. What the fuck, man? What a fucking idiot. I'm not an intellectual by any means, but even I could win that debate. Penguins Zero must be a dumbass.
He is like, I do genuinely believe he's the dumbest person I've ever interacted with online. And if it weren't for Twitch and social media, that guy would be selling pencils by the side of the road. He is far too stupid to do anything. Thanks for the donation, though, Killing Titan. Dodo donated $2. Let me see.
About the future, like having a child is an act of optimism about the future. So, if you're not optimistic, yeah. So I think we need to maybe give people a sense of optimism and excitement about.
Most children are born by accident. So, no. On average, having a child is an act of irresponsibility. And the other amount of people who have children who deliberately have kids, sure, I guess some of that could be optimistic. I would bet the vast majority of the time you're just talking about wanting kids because you want kids. Especially women, by the time they hit 30, they go fucking baby crazy. So it's all stupid nonsense and more stupid nonsense. That's why people have kids. Is Brooklyn, New York, a Medicaid fraud hotspot? Brooklyn has a home care billing industry that defies belief. One zip code. 30,000 residents, 3.8 billion in medical claims, $143,000 per man, woman, and child. It's even stranger is that the average income is $90K. The poverty rate is below 20%, and it's one of the younger zip codes in the area. Yeah, there's no chance. That has to be fraud. Yeah, the 30 to 34 year age range, or like 30 to 40 year age range. This is right around the time when people start getting sick of work and they're like, I have to do this for another 30 years. Fuck this shit. And then they start scamming. And what makes no sense is you'd normally expect medical expenses to go up as you age. So this is the age group where they realize I have to do this for another 30 fucking years. Fuck it. Like that's right around when you actually have a career now. And it's like, okay, this is the job I'm sticking to. And then they realize 30 more years. Nah. Yeah, so that's fraud for sure. Creepy. Let me see.
Meta is planning to add facial recognition to its lineup of smart glasses at some point this year. According to a report by the New York Times, the feature would let wearers of Meta's smart glasses identify people and get information about them via Meta's artificial intelligence assistant. The tech giant previously considered adding the feature to the first version of its Ray-Ban smart glasses back in 2021, but scrapped the plans over technical challenges and ethical concerns. That's the big one here. ABC News tech reporter Mike Dubusky is here with more. Mike, you've got a pair of those glasses. What's going on here, and why hasn't Meta really acted sooner on something like this?
Yeah, Andrew, it's really bright in this studio, so I figured I'd just pop them on. But yeah, these are the first generation of Meta's smart glasses. They've had another generation since then, and they're smart in a couple different ways, right? They've partnered with Essilor-Luxottica, which makes Ray-Bans, so they look pretty much just like your average Ray-Bans. But they have small cameras here next to the lens lenses. And in the arms of these glasses, there's also small speakers that are kind of directed at your ears, so you can listen to music, you can listen to podcasts, and you can interact with Meta's artificial intelligence. That's how Meta is thinking about integrating facial recognition into these glasses, where you can be talking to someone and maybe it'll just pop in your ear and say, hey, this is Andrew Dimbert. He's an anchor on ABC News Live. Pretty helpful if you, like me, are
Yeah, everything's computer now, even glasses.
and to forget people's names, but in photos that you uploaded. On one hand, certain governments can use facial
The facial recognition thing is cool. It'd be interesting to just wear those in public and just look up random people. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Depressed and Repressed donated $2. Let me see.
I am on a carnivore diet, so I just eat meat and ferments, and I'm very happy with that. So I'm going to probably have yogurt and.
And you mentioned that you eat a lot of fermented food. I saw somewhere. Is it true that you will be cooking a steak at 6:30 in the morning with like sauerkraut, and that's breakfast?
I eat it with
So sauerkraut is a carnivore diet.
sauerkraut. Yeah, I eat some kind of meat probably twice a day.
Yeah, so RFK Jr. is a dumbass. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Depressed and Repressed donated $2. Oh, wait. Casually revealed. Wait, that's Depressed and Repressed. Thanks for the donation, Depressed and Repressed.
Meta is planning to.
Dodo donated $2. I asked you where does Coach Colton rank, not where does Penguin Zero rank. Okay, sorry, Dodo. I'm high. I would say Coach Colton, at this point, probably third. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
You could be chilling on the beach doing vegan activism and eating good food in warm tropical Puerto Rico with Harry, but because you are too lazy to book a plane ticket and pull the trigger on taking a vacation, you will never do it and just freeze in Canada instead.
Yeah, thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Some calm vegan gains uploaded on my channel.
Fuck!
Imagine having a body count of 2, all of
Fuck
them
you,
being
fuck
fat
you,
whales.
fuck you!
You'll never deflower.
Yeah. Thanks for the donation, Bootycum.
Dingus. Can you analyze the last clip? Very cool. Bingus.
Oh, that was so good. That you couldn't see it, but you could hear it. Just made it so funny. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love kitties. Oh, he wants to play with his friends. Those are nice kitties. I want to hear those meows again. Wow.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I guess you wonder where I've been.
Huh. Thanks for the donation, Julington.
Zooting, those Nazi children I was referring to were not the Zionists you are talking about. Rather, they were the Palestinian children you are crying about.
Yes. I think the reason Israel's having so much trouble killing Palestinian children is probably because they're small and it's hard to find them. You know, with some of the bombs, they're able to like hide in small little shelters. So we need to be giving Israel some bigger bombs to take out all those children that are able to hide so good. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Just wondering, did Redacted ever bring up the idea of having kids with you as something she might want to do? Even though you had a vasectomy. Did she have a hysterectomy? She needed to find a male to lock down with kids. Too bad for her.
No. And yeah, she had a hysterectomy. I'm so glad that I never had any interest in having children, dude. Holy crap, if I had kids, that would be a huge issue. But because I didn't have kids, man, that made everything easy. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Who do you think is less of an idiot in the whole Greg Doucette and Mike Israel beef? Do you think Dr. Mike will get his IFBB Pro card?
I would say Greg Doucette is less of an idiot, and if Mike is going to get his pro card, it would probably be either in the Masters division or some like... He's probably going to do what he did to get his PhD. He's going to go to like some really crappy local show in some random place where the competition is like really, really low to try to get his pro card. Thanks for the donation though, 21st. Oh wait, I mean Matthew. Yeah, I'm still high.
If it was real, but his brother provided the photos, so they have to be real. They're real. Because I've been on real death scenes, just like Epstein's alleged cause of death. I understand what gravity does to a body. I understand what compression does to skin. And the markings on Jeffrey Epstein's body do not look textbook to me. And we are going to dive into that today. But quick note, quick disclaimer before we go any further. We are going to be talking about self-unaliving, and
Let's not forget him, the one that introduced you and audience to Mr. Kitters.
Yes, you did good, Dodo. Thanks for the donation, dude.
cannot say the official S word on YouTube. You know, that S word? YouTube doesn't like it. They don't want me to say it. They would rather have me say unalive. So if I use some clever language, just know you know. You know what I mean? I know what I mean. We're good, right? But just know a little piece of my soul dies each time I have to censor myself. But anyways, moving on. This video isn't about who Jeffrey Epstein was. We all know who he was. I feel like that's already been explained. He was a total piece of that's putting it kindly. This video is about the night he died. I want the timing in one place, the medical findings in one place, and the procedural failures all in one place. And yes, of course, I'm going to give you my opinion. Because when you stack the timeline, the documentation, the fractures, and now this marking, it doesn't really feel clean to me. So let's rewind, all right? Cue the intro. Wow, 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 wow. If we're going to talk about the death of Jeffrey Epstein and what may or may not have happened, we cannot start with the morning he was found. I want to start weeks earlier because the ending of this story doesn't make sense unless you understand what led up to it. I think you need all of the alleged facts. July 6, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein is finally arrested and taken to the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. This isn't just a small town jail. This is a federal facility. And at this moment in time, he is one of the most high-profile inmates in the country. Every guard knows his name. Every inmate knows his charges. is. Every news outlet is watching. 2 weeks later, July 23rd, he's found on the floor of his cell with a strip of bedsheet around his neck. His cellmate at the time, Nicholas Tartaglione. Tartaglione. That's a good one. I don't know how to pronounce that, so Nicholas. He's a former police officer who is facing multiple murder charges. Sounds like a nice guy. Not. Anyways, this is who he was sharing.
Just imagine if you never got a vasectomy and somehow got convinced or tricked into having kids with that woman. Like she took the condom off or something. She probably would have done something like that when she realized it's her only chance to lock you down.
I don't know if she'd ever go that far, because she really didn't want to have kids. And again, she wouldn't have gotten the hysterectomy, so... Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Man, octopuses are so intelligent with how it hid and escaped from that hungry moray eel.
Yeah, they are really smart. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Sharing a cell with. The official story is that Epstein attempted to unsubscribe from life, but Epstein says his roomie, the police officer, former police officer / murderer, attacked him. The police officer man, inmate, cellmate denies that, of course, because of course he does. And we don't really get clarity there, unfortunately. What we do know is that after that event happened, Epstein was placed on watch protocol. You know, that special kind of watch that starts with an S that I can't say on here. And this type of watch protocol in a federal facility is pretty serious. It means close observation, restrictions, monitoring. It means someone has already decided that you are at risk. But that doesn't last long for Mr. Epstein, because 1 week later, he's taken off of that protocol. They're just like, he's fine now. Let's just take him off. And just like that, Jeffrey Epstein is returned to the special housing unit under...
Richard. Fast forward to 13 seconds. ICE needs to deport these guys.
I can't fast forward. How does he land on his ass like that? It's concrete. All right, thanks for the donation, Saxby.
One condition. He must have a cellmate, which tells you something. They still considered him at risk. He wasn't cleared as totally fine. He was cleared with supervision. So fast forward to August 9th. It's a Friday, the day before he dies. His assigned cellmate is released, and no new cellmate is assigned. So now, the man who was considered at serious self-unsubscription from life just weeks prior, not even that long ago, is now alone. The last night that Jeffrey Epstein was alive, 2 guards were assigned to his unit, and according to federal prosecutors, they allegedly failed to conduct required 30-minute checks for about 8 hours. 8 hours in a locked facility. 8 hours in a high-profile housing unit. 8 hours where no one is physically verifying his condition. Then, the camera that would have captured the immediate area near his cell door, conveniently not functioning properly that night. And this is where people start saying, that's a lot of coincidences, because, right? Anyways, August 10th, around 6:30 in the morning, he is found unresponsive in his cell. CPR is initiated, he's transported to the hospital, and he's officially pronounced. So now we have a man who was previously on watch protocol, required to have a cellmate, left all alone, guards allegedly not checking on him for 8 hours, cameras that conveniently malfunctioned, and that's just the timeline. We haven't even looked at the body yet. Like all that, and we're not even there yet, but we're getting there right now. Because here's where the story takes a surprising turn. Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, is his legal next of kin, and he didn't find out from prison officials, from the medical examiner, from anybody official, really, that his brother had died. He found out from watching CNN, which is wild to me. Notifying the next of kin after a death is like death investigation 101. There's proper protocol, but it wasn't done here. So Mark, feeling something is amiss, something is off, he hires Dr. Michael Baden to observe the autopsy. Dr. Baden, if you don't know who he isn't just some internet doctor with a hot take. This was really
Forgot my namification, donation tellers. I spent too much money today. Here's some more just for you, VG. Well, thank you. Forgot my namification. Appreciate it.
interesting to read about. He's a forensic pathologist who has been involved in some of the most high-profile cases in modern
The
American
O.J.
history.
Simpson
He's worked
thing's
on cases
ridiculous.
connected to JFK, O.J. Simpson, George Floyd, Aaron Hernandez. He's served as chief medical examiner of New York City. He has decades of experience examining bodies and testifying in court. He was there to observe the autopsy of Jeffrey Epstein, and that matters because now you don't just have the office of chief medical examiner conducting the autopsy. You have an independent forensic pathologist watching and documenting what's being found on the body in real time. And what Dr. Baden publicly said afterward is what made this story explode, because it wasn't just about the fractures. He also stated he believed the time of death for Jeffrey Epstein to be about 4:30 in the morning, roughly 2 hours before he was reportedly found. And then there were the fractures. He noted 3 fractures in Epstein's neck, not 1, 3. The left thyroid cartilage, the right thyroid cartilage, and the hyoid bone. And he stated that in his decades of reviewing jail suspension, catch my drift, he had never seen 3 fractures like that in what was ruled a self-unaliving. Now, the medical examiner's office stood firmly by their conclusion and stated that those types of fractures can be seen in both self-unaliving suspension and a manual compression. So now you have 2 experienced forensic professionals looking at the same neck and not agreeing. And that's before we even talk about the ligature mark itself. But wait, there's more. Unfortunately, I have been on more.
The mark was weird. It looked like it went straight back, as if he was being choked from behind, not hung. And those looked like marks from a garrote.
More calls than I can count where someone made the final irreversible decision using this exact method that
You need to pull up to ASU to avenge Clavicular after he got brutally frame-mugged by the ASU frat leader.
Appreciate you. Crimson Tide? Don't you stop. You got me by a lot. I stopped gymming. Yeah, dude.
Well, this guy probably works out and trains hard, whereas Clav doesn't. So, yeah. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
allegedly Jeffrey Epstein did. Again, you catch my drift when I'm trying to tell you. People in basements, closets, garages, outdoors, different temperatures, different materials. I have seen it over and over and over again. In fact, I had no idea how many people chose this method of goodbye until I worked corner calls. And there is one thing that is incredibly common in suspension cases like this. People almost always leave themselves a way to adjust the pressure. They kneel on their knees, they lean forward, they shift their weight into it. And that lean of the person is everything. You have to picture the gravity of the situation, literally. Okay? When someone leans forward into that position, gravity pulls downward on the body and then upward on the material. You following me? The mark or the wound, right? It doesn't just sit straight across the middle of the neck. It tracks upward. It climbs and it moves towards the point of suspension. Often you'll see it like angling up behind the ear, up toward the jawline because the body is pulling against it. That upward movement is extremely common. That is what I've seen. That's what we see. I almost wish I could take my hands and like, I don't even know. Like, you would see it. When I look at that image that Jeffrey Epstein's brother provided in that interview, what stands out to me is that the marking appears more mid-neck and pretty much horizontal, right? It doesn't present with that strong upward tracking that I am used to seeing in cases where someone has leaned forward into a suspension point. There even appears to be what looks like a secondary pattern behind it. I mean,
it's a shame people at Asian restaurants are eating those poor cephalopods alive.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Yeah, they're disgusting. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it looks that way. Almost like a layered compression. Now, could there be explanations for that? Sure. Bodies are complex and different materials behave differently. But based on my experience, if someone were positioned the way his brother described, because in the interview, he describes how Jeffrey Epstein's body was found. And just in case you missed that, I want to reiterate it really quickly. Jeffrey Epstein's buttocks was suspended from the ground when the guards walked in that morning. His feet were out in front of him and he had to be cut down. Again, I would expect to see more upward angulation from the photos, and I just don't see that here. And that's the part that makes me pause the most because the body doesn't lie. People do. So now we need to talk about the CPR. Circling back, because this part bothers me too. If someone has been without circulation for hours, and again, Dr. Baden is suggesting a possible earlier time of death, the body does not feel freshly collapsed. It cools. The skin changes. Blood starts settling. The body starts doing what bodies do when they've been gone for a bit. And I'm sorry, but if you've ever been around a person who has clearly been deceased for a while, you know. You just know. You look at them and you know. So when I see photos of active compressions being performed on Jeffrey Epstein's body, and then it was photographed, like documented in the back of the ambulance, I have so many questions. So you cut him down and then you thought, let's publicly wheel him out of here. We got to document this. I mean, there was some intern in the back of an ambulance and they're like, hey, grab the camera. Do you see what I mean? It just seems so weird to me because this death isn't some random person on the sidewalk who collapsed. This is supposed to be a locked federal facility. There are high profile inmates in there. This is supposed to be a controlled environment. If someone had been in the position that Jeffrey Epstein was found for a significant amount of time, there are going to be physical indicators that he is no longer with us. That's just physiology. That's not conspiracy. That's how bodies work. And then we're told he may have been gone for roughly hours before his body was discovered. So now I'm supposed to believe we have a potentially hours deceased individual cut down from suspension, placed on a gurney, active compression happening, and someone is also documenting it. That is not something the public is used to seeing. Is it impossible? No. Is it typical? Also no. But when you add that to everything else, the earlier incident, the removal from watch protocol, the cellmate being gone, the missing checks on the inmates, the camera malfunction, it doesn't calm the narrative, it makes it louder. I'm not saying I know exactly what happened in that cell, but I am saying that when I look at the totality of this medically, mechanically, procedurally, is that a word? Anyways, it does not feel clean. And then on top of everything, you're going to tell the public that a high-profile federal inmate died alone in his cell and there's no camera footage? We're talking about a federal facility, not a motel, not a storage unit, a locked, monitored housing unit. And yet the camera that would have captured direct activity directly outside of his cell, the one that would have shown who came and who went, who approached the door and who didn't, it wasn't functioning properly that night. Now, there were other cameras in the facility, cameras that showed the guard station, cameras that showed other angles, but the specific camera angle that would have given the clearest view of that tier, corrupted, gone, unavailable. And I need you to understand why that fuels speculation. Because if everything is exactly as it's always been.
I'm leaning towards him being murdered, honestly. Dota Tellers, wow, Chinese men are desperate.
Thing. Sweet voice, flirty with her fans, covering her face and squeezing every possible donation from the guys. Then it happens. Her PNG image, her entire career, her whole defense system collapse. Gone, vanished, glitched out of reality. And what replaces it? A middle-aged woman looking like your auntie doing Tai Chi at the local park. In this moment here, time was frozen. The chat went dead silent. And for a second, everybody was just in a state of shock. She looked a lot more round. Okay. Okay, I'm just not quite what we expected. Everybody is just meant.
Yeah, that's what they do. Watch this while you're still high without skipping.
Picture an optimal approach for storing and retrieving data. Does something like this come to mind?
What your mom tells you not to do, which is just like throw everything all over the floor in random locations, is something that...
This guy needs the help of clavicular. Oh my god. Nigga, don't need... Hang on.
Does creatine have any mood-enhancing benefits?
Not that I know of. Seems to have some cognitive benefits. I don't know if it has any mood-enhancing benefits. None that I can tell. Thanks for the donation, though, nigga.
that actually works on a computer. It's a very non-human data structure.
These data structures, called hash tables, are essential to modern computing.
Hash tables are really a general purpose tool that a program can then use on the fly.
Hash tables are designed to insert or store elements of information in empty slots, and then search for these elements via queries.
The big challenge in hash table design is the trade-off between the fullness of the hash table versus the insertion and query time. There's this tension between time and space.
In 2025, a student and two co-authors published research that overturned the field's decades-long understanding about the limits of how hash tables can function.
It is very impressive when an undergrad disproves a long-standing important conjecture of a Turing Award winner, but he actually did something more exciting.
Hash tables use an algorithm called a hash function to efficiently store and retrieve data, like a librarian who uses an ingenious system to shelve books that speeds up locating them later on.
The hash table can, in principle, do these very clever things in order to make these insertions and these queries be very time efficient.
The first hash table was invented in the 1950s by IBM engineer Hans Peter Loon.
He had this insight that what you want to do when you're building a hash table is you want to use randomness to your advantage.
The hash function uses randomness to help select locations in memory. It then inserts information in the first open slot it finds.
Basically, you just try a bunch of random spots until you find a free one.
In 1985, the computer scientist Andrew Yao, who would go on to win the Turing Award, the field's highest honor, concluded that this approach, called uniform probing, was the best possible.
So Yao's paper had this really fantastic theorem that showed that, yes, uniform probing is optimal.
But optimal isn't always fast. As memory gets full, it can take longer and longer to find an empty slot.
That last guy you need to insert, that's the killer, right? You're gonna have to look and look and look.
In the very basic table, if you have 1 million items, the last item you insert, you have to look in basically 1 million locations.
And most computer scientists believed Yao's conclusion, that this was the best that could be done.
Durian Rider.
Fuck.
4 decades later, Andrew Krapivin met his future collaborators while an undergrad at Rutgers University.
And he was taking my graduate algorithms class, and he came up to me and says, "Oh, I have an improvement to your tiny pointers paper."
While tinkering with his mentor's data objects called tiny pointers, Andrew ended up inventing his own hash table.
That hash table is a very simple counterexample to Yao's conjecture. It kind of opened our eyes. We said, wow, maybe our understanding of this area is not as complete as we thought.
So the team dived into the literature on the topic while continuing to develop a string of Andrew's new ideas.
We ended up discovering this much more surprising result, which was that it's not just that Yao's conjecture isn't true, there's actually a way to just entirely bypass Yao's theorem.
Okay, last dono tonight. Sorry if this offends you, but I'm curious about your dad. I've seen you mom in earlier videos but never your dad, assumed he ran off. Did you ever know him or have a good relationship with him?
He didn't run off. Yeah, my mom and dad just broke up when I was young. He's dying of thyroid cancer now, and he got pneumonia for the second time. And he's on a feeding tube. He's 72 years old now. Apparently still looks great. He was telling my mom when he was in the hospital, the nurses were shocked about his age. They thought he was like, 57, 58, something like that, not 72. So, despite dying, he still looks like he's in good health. But thanks for the donation, Matthew.
In their recent paper, Andrew and his collaborators constructed a new kind of hash table that doesn't always put data in the first empty slot.
I'm going to look ahead, and if I find a free slot that is, for some reason, a slot that I really want to fill, I will fill that slot instead.
You're just not required to take the first one you can find, and it does better. That, to me, was completely shocking.
And their hash table has another surprising property: a near constant average query time, which is something Yao thought impossible.
We discovered that if you don't insert in the first spot,
the queries are super fast on average.
Actually, your average doesn't even depend on how full your table is. Even if you fill it up 100%, your average will still be some fixed number.
The main result of the paper says there is no fundamental tension between space and time.
Over the last 2 decades, dozens of research teams have raced to be the first to build a practical, paradigm-shifting quantum computer.
The hope is that by building this quantum computer, we'll be able to solve these problems that are basically completely intractable using classical machines.
But the unique challenges of working with qubits, the finicky fundamental building blocks of quantum computers, have long kept this reality out of reach.
We have a chasm between what is physically achievable and physical qubits regarding error rates. How do we cross that chasm? Well, we're going to try to use quantum error correction as a bridge.
In a major first, a team at Google surpassed a key milestone in quantum error correction, charting a path forward.
Finally, you can kind of see in practice what we kind of already knew would happen in theory for like 20 years, 25 years. So yeah, that's very exciting.
Unlike classical computers that perform calculations using bits that are either zeros or ones, quantum computers harness the unique properties of quantum mechanics.
A qubit, at the end of the day, it's kind of a mathematical object. A qubit can be sort of a continuum of states, including superpositions between 0 and 1.
By manipulating the collective states of qubits, quantum computers can perform powerful calculations. But performing calculations with qubits is tricky. Errors easily creep in.
You can have a continuum of states, which means you also have a continuum of errors you need to correct, sort of an infinity of errors.
And any single error can ruin the whole calculation. In the 1990s, the mathematician Peter Shor devised a groundbreaking factoring algorithm that demonstrated the potential of quantum computing. But it required so many steps that many thought it could never run.
If you have a probability of an error every 1,000 steps, then you're never going to get through an algorithm that is 1 trillion steps without making a mistake.
There was basically a lot of skepticism that we could ever control quantum effects to that level of precision.
Shor and others realized that it's possible, in principle, to correct errors by adding extra qubits. Then, in 1998, Russian physicist Alexei Kitaev proposed one such technique called the surface code.
The surface code, a very surprisingly simple scheme. We just place our qubits.
Dodo donated $2.
Spare me the BS about how, oh, you have to support Israel or else you're an anti-Semite. No, I disagree. I do not comply. I do not support Israel.
As you know, I'm a Catholic, and Catholics do not embrace Zionism, just so you know. Are all Catholics anti-Semites, according to you?
As I said, anti-Zionism.
Yeah.
By denying the right of the Jews to have their own state while not saying the same for any other peoples, that is a double standard, hypocrisy, and anti-Semitism.
So just to be clear, are Catholics anti-Semites?
Okay, so she's just being dishonest.
You should let her ask the question, and I think the question should be answered. But, you know, it's kind of difficult to sell the American people on the notion that your lack of support for
Like, again, they're fine with Islamic states, but they're not fine with a Jewish state. Like, there's a reason for that. Yeah, fundamentally, it's anti-Semitism. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Didn't they have, like, quantum computers since the 1980s? I played Qbert. Qbert is quantum. See, they had quantum computing. There's Qbert. He's quantum. Mac Daddy, don't need to tell us Toby is the GOAT.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man of all time? Toby Maguire. Toby all the way. Easily Toby Maguire. I'm a North head, so Toby Maguire. Toby Maguire is the mistaken. So don't you dare.
Yeah, Toby Maguire was the best Spider-Man. Thanks for the donation, Mac Daddy.
On a square lattice, and then perform local measurements on these qubits.
With the surface code, qubits are arranged in overlapping grids, consisting of data qubits and error measurement qubits.
And so they're all sharing the quantum information in a very carefully orchestrated way, such that we can check for local errors.
And this collection of physical qubits functions as a single, high-quality, logical qubit.
We have many qubits work together to express a single, more perfect qubit, and that single logical qubit is more reliable than any of its physical parts.
In order to build a viable quantum computer, Google's quantum AI team first needed to overcome a major hurdle: engineering reliable qubits.
If your physical qubits are good enough, their performance is better than a certain threshold. Then as we add more and more qubits, then we'll exponentially reduce the errors that we're experiencing.
But at first, the team's qubits weren't up to snuff.
We've had systems that were very, very good, but nonetheless, the physical qubits weren't quite there, and as we made the system larger, the error just got worse and worse. The errors overwhelmed the error correction. We basically had to go back to the drawing board.
After years spent improving their qubit design and scaling up the size of the surface code, the team finally put their new 72-qubit processor, codenamed Willow, to the test.
We saw like a 40 or 50% error suppression improvement just on this first run. Seeing it work convincingly for the first time, it was a much more joyous route.
They had crossed a critical threshold, causing error rates to plummet exponentially.
This is the first time the whole system is working well together, where we can actually see the exponential with our own eyes and see that error cutting in half as we increase the code size.
I'm kind of in awe of like the engineering that kind of went into this. It's really, really complicated. I think there's still a way to go to make things practical. So I think this is kind of a demonstration of that things work.
We know now that we can build devices that are accurate enough that if they are scaled, they will be able to solve some of the hardest problems that humanity faces.
A key challenge for programmers is managing trade-offs between computational speed or time and space and memory.
We want to minimize the time that we take to solve problems. We also don't want our programs to consume a lot of memory.
For decades, computer scientists assumed that for certain problems, the relationship between time and space was essentially fixed.
If a computation used a certain amount of time, it will probably use roughly that amount of space.
Now, in a groundbreaking paper, MIT researcher Ryan Williams has proved that you can always get away with a lot less space.
His improvement was enormous.
No, it was completely unexpected, and I didn't believe it was true.
The space-time problem is central to the field of
Probably not gonna play Crimson Desert when it comes out. I have absolutely no expectations for that game, by the way. It just looks like some jank-ass open-world RPG to me. People are hyping it up like crazy, but... just looks like some dumb fucking gay open-world RPG. I've seen a billion fucking times. Like, the combat looks like it sucks. So... I have no expectations whatsoever for that game. If it turns out to be really good, then maybe I'll play it, but don't have any excitement for that game.
Complexity theory.
Complexity theory studies what problems can be solved with efficient resources.
The resource of time refers specifically to the number of
You know, all these people look like fucking nerds.
Steps a computation takes.
Like, say, how many instructions that your processor goes through in order to find the end result.
While space is the amount of memory utilized during this computation.
How much space does it need to, like, store intermediate results in its computation while it's working?
For many algorithms, the amount of space needed is roughly proportional to runtime.
If you take t steps of time, then the amount of space you consume is only about t, right? You can't really add any more to your memory in one step than like one more unit of space.
The longer and longer a computation takes, the more and more memory it will use.
In 1975, a trio of computer scientists found a way to tweak this dynamic. They devised what's called a universal simulation, a technique that could take any algorithm and convert it so it saves a little bit of space.
From a theoretical perspective, this is amazing, that you can even do this little bit of savings.
But for the next 50 years, any further progress seemed impossible.
There were, like, provable limitations on the particular strategy that people were using.
In 2024, Williams' curiosity was aroused by his students' presentation on the work of researchers James Cook and Ian Mertz. The pair were focused on a seemingly unrelated problem called tree evaluation.
When we worked on tree evaluation, we didn't think anything of space versus time in that way.
Williams noticed something interesting at its core.
The way the Cook-Mertz tree evaluation algorithm goes, they say, hey, what if you just try to reuse the space over and over? I've already got space that's already allocated, I'm going to add on top of it.
The algorithm can squeeze more information into locations in memory already in use.
Adding in a bunch of extra things, but all the extra things are going to cancel out. But you didn't have to use extra space.
Williams also realized that Cook and Mertz's approach could possibly be used for something more wide-ranging.
It gives a very specific, very well-defined procedure for taking sort of any computation and re-implementing it so that it uses drastically less space than before.
So Williams wrote down his thoughts before setting them aside for a few months.
I just thought this was like another one of my harebrained ideas. I went.
Draw Dennis and Andrea and baby VG in the hospital. Dennis is in whiteface and Andrea is looking at newborn VG saying, "Why is he black?"
There you go. Thanks for the donation, the Bluger. Dodo donate $2.
These two soldiers.
Okay, we can take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Back, I returned. I decided, okay, I'm just going to confirm that this thing doesn't work.
But it did work, and it functions as a universal simulation that converts any algorithm to save a substantial amount of space.
In my paper, I show that actually time t in this very general framework can be simulated only about square root of t space. So it's a drastic space savings. And this is true regardless of the kind of computation you're running. When it comes down to it, all I did was sort of uncover the magic that was already there.
So Ryan did the most important thing that you could do, which is that he drew a connection between things that were already in the literature and then put in the pure elbow grease to make the whole thing work. I'm in awe of...
Yeah.
Are on an important mission. Above them, the roar of the plane fades. Below them lies their homeland, occupied by the Nazis. And somewhere down there is their target, Reinhard Heydrich, the Butcher of Prague. One of the key architects of the Holocaust. Hitler calls him the man with the iron heart. He's responsible for more than 1.5 million deaths. And he doesn't have the faintest idea they're coming for him. Warning. This video includes descriptions of suicide and mass murder committed under the Nazi regime. Our coverage is largely based on these two books. This is a photo of Reinhard Heydrich and his wife Lena. It was taken in May 1942 at the Wallenstein Palais in Prague, where they attended a concert. Reinhard Heydrich loves music. He's the son of a singer and composer. But despite showing musical talent as a child, he chose a very different path for himself. After graduating from school, he joined the Reichsmarine, the German Navy. Heydrich is tall, blonde, and athletic. He looks like he walked straight out of a Nazi propaganda poster. But this picture-perfect facade is deceptive. He speaks with a strangely thin, high-pitched voice. He's said to have been haunted by deep insecurity and self-hatred. In school, and also in the Navy, people mock him. Rumors spread that he has Jewish roots. They call him Blonde Moses. In a Germany turning toward Nazism, it's a nickname he despises. In December 1930, he meets Lena von Osten at a dance in Kiel. After just 4 dates, they get engaged. It's said that he was drawn to her Nordic looks, maybe hoping they'd silence those rumors about him having Jewish ancestry. But then scandal strikes the newly engaged couple. Heydrich is brought before a naval court of honor. A former girlfriend accuses him of breaking a promise to marry her. He's discharged from the Navy, a humiliating fall from grace. But unfortunately, it's not the end of his career. A few months later, a family friend introduces him to Heinrich Himmler. Heydrich joins the Nazi Party and the SS. And from there, his rise is meteoric. In just a few years, Heydrich becomes one of the most powerful men in Nazi Germany. He's made chief of the Reich Security Main Office, the SS and police agency. In 1938, he orchestrates Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass. Across Germany, synagogues burn, Jewish businesses are ransacked, and thousands of people are arrested, beaten, or killed. In July 1941, Heydrich is tasked with planning what the Nazis call the final solution to the Jewish question, the blueprint for the systematic mass murder of Europe's Jews. Heydrich is the boss of Adolf Eichmann, another key Holocaust architect we covered in this video. A few months later, in autumn 1941, Heydrich receives a significant promotion. He's sent to Prague as Deputy Reich Protector of Bohemia and Moravia. Nazi Germany occupied the Czech lands in 1939, and the Reich Protector, Konstantin von Neurath, governs the territory. But von Neurath is considered too lax, so Heydrich becomes the de facto governor. He definitely isn't too lax. Hitler has sent the man with the iron heart. Heydrich orders mass arrests, executions, and deportations. Thousands of Czechs are sent to concentration camps. His reign of terror earns him a title that history will never forget: the Butcher of Prague. To the outside world, it appears Heydrich has crushed the
$90. Pay attention to VG. I don't see your eyes on the screen. I see you're looking at Facebook. It's not Facebook. I was looking at Muscle Mommies on Instagram. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Czech resistance. But in the shadows, a plan to
Nah, I wouldn't do a workout stream with Jason Blaha if he offered. He's kind of too much of a piece of shit for me to waste my time.
Assassinate him is in motion. While Heydrich makes himself comfortable with his family in his castle near Prague, hundreds of kilometers away, 2 soldiers are training to kill him. The Czech government is in exile. Its leaders are in London. Czech military intelligence is cooperating with the British Special Operations Executive. Together, they plan a top-secret mission to assassinate Heydrich. Operation Anthropoid. Enter Jan Kubiš and Josef Gabčík. Meeting in Poland in 1939, they eventually join the French Foreign Legion, the only way to fight back. In the ranks of the Legion, they become good friends. After the fall of France, Czech forces are moved to Britain. In the autumn of 1941, Gabčík is chosen for Operation Anthropoid. When his partner suffers an injury during training, Gabčík insists that Kubiš be the one to replace him. Both men are proud soldiers who had watched their homeland fall to the Nazis without a fight. Now they're determined to strike back, no matter what the cost. Together, they prepare for one of the most dangerous missions of the war: to strike at the heart of the Nazi regime. 3D scenes like these are made by humans. Greetings from our team. But to keep things running behind the scenes, we rely on partners like our long-term sponsor, Odoo. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software. It's designed to cover everything. You can set up each task in the description to get started. In the early hours of December 29, 1941, a British Halifax bomber drops its deadly cargo, Gabchik and Kubish. But heavy snow blinds the crew, making navigation nearly impossible. So they accidentally drop Gabchik and Kubish at the wrong location. Instead of landing east of Pilsen, they end up east of Prague. As they approach the ground, Gabchik misjudges the height and injures his left foot. Now they have no idea where they are. It's night, and it's cold. The two soldiers bury their parachutes in the snow and take shelter in the abandoned tunnels of an old stone quarry. Their landing hasn't gone unnoticed. During the night, a local gamekeeper heard the plane, climbed onto the roof of his house, and saw two parachutes heading toward him. The next morning, he finds the buried parachutes and follows a trail of footprints in the snow. It doesn't take him long to find Gabchik and Kubish and confront them. The young men pretend to be surveyors, but their cover story quickly falls apart, and they reluctantly admit the truth. Luckily, the gamekeeper wants to help them. They're stunned to find out they've landed 20 miles from Prague, far from their contacts. Gabchik is injured, and the mission already looks doomed. But then, fate intervenes. A local miller, who also heard the plane that night, tracks them down. He's a member of Sokol, a banned Czech nationalist group, and offers to connect them with the underground network in Prague.
Hell yeah.
It violates the strictest rules of their mission. No contact with the local resistance until their mission is over. But they're desperate. They have no choice but to accept help. Over the next few months, they're sheltered by a network of brave families, ordinary people risking everything to feed and hide them. Reinhard Heydrich is busy organizing the
Elbow wraps when he tells mute this video, shitty music. Yeah, here we go. I know exactly how this is gonna go. Oh my god, dude. These kids are like 12 years old. What the fuck are they doing? Dude, all of them. Why are all these kids doing this? Thanks for the donation, Elbow Wraps.
infamous Wannsee Conference, a meeting called to streamline the mass murder of Jews. He doesn't realize that all the while, two men are observing him, learning his habits, noting every route and ritual. They even have inside help from people working in his castle. They sketch out several ideas for how to take him out. An attack at his castle or his estate isn't an option. The SS guards them too closely. But they see another opening. Heydrich always travels without guards, accompanied only by his chauffeur. It's the one time he's exposed. So they decide to strike while he's on the road. They consider stretching a wire across the street to force his car to slow down, but time is running out. They hear rumors that Heydrich might leave Prague soon. The pressure mounts, and they need to move quickly. May 26, 1942. In a magnificent concert hall, Heydrich and his wife enjoy compositions by his father, Bruno. Not far away, two men finish their final checks. Tomorrow, they'll attempt to kill the Butcher of Prague. Gabchik is armed with a British Sten gun. Kubish holds the explosives. They pack two briefcases. One contains the disassembled Sten gun, while the other holds two bombs. To an observer, the briefcases look ordinary. The weapons are hidden beneath layers of fresh grass. It's the perfect cover. With wartime food shortages, many locals keep rabbits, so carrying grass for feed is a common sight. The next morning, Reinhard Heydrich's day begins peacefully. It's a fresh spring morning. He finishes breakfast and plays with his 3 children. His wife is pregnant with a 4th. At around 10 o'clock, he leaves the safety of his castle with his chauffeur. On a narrow street in the Liebane district on the outskirts of Prague, Gabchik waits. Kubish is positioned here, just a few meters away. Both have stood here for over an hour, tense, silent, ready. Then, finally, Heydrich's Mercedes-Benz pulls up. Not yet. Not yet. Now, Gabchik steps forward, throws off his raincoat, raises the sten, and pulls the trigger.
Oh
but
no.
Nothing happens. Months of training for this one
British engineering for you. There you go. Killing Titan $20. This is true wealth. Let me see. How do you make an open bolt submachine gun not fucking fire when you pull the trigger? Only the fucking British.
Hey, baby. What's going on? What's happening? What are you doing?
Oh, it's a little baby.
What are you doing?
Oh. My goodness.
Oh, baby.
He's sitting on his bum. Oh, that's a good baby dog. Dogs are nice. Thanks for the donation, Killing Titan.
moment, and the gun jams. Maybe grass clogged the mechanism. The stand had a reputation for jamming easily. Or maybe it's just bad luck. We'll never know. Heydrich thinks there's only one attacker, so he yells at his driver to stop and draws his pistol. Kubish seizes the moment, but he misjudges his throw. Heydrich survives. Kubish scrambles onto his bicycle and disappears down the street. Gabchik is chased by Heydrich's driver and flees into a nearby butcher shop. When the driver bursts in, Gabchik finally makes the stem work, shooting him in the leg and escaping. Both assassins get away, but there's no sense of triumph. The mission
Dude, that is some shitty luck. All guns to use, though, Sten.
failed. They haven't eliminated their target. But Heydrich is critically wounded by the explosion. He's rushed to Belov's.
Fun fact, even Christian nuts think Erica Kirk is demon-possessed.
So today I want to discuss Erica Kirk. And I want to tell you right now, demonic possession is very real. Now I want you to watch her face closely, because the moment the reporter brings up Candace Owens, Erica, does her face tell you? Well, take a look.
Yeah. He is just a psychopath. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
A hospital in a passing delivery truck. And on June 4, 1942, 8 days after the attack, Reinhard Heydrich succumbs to his wounds.
That's pretty good.
Immediately after the assassination, the Gestapo launches a massive manhunt for the attackers. But they have no real leads. Frustrated, the regime demands blood to avenge the death of the deputy Reich protector. The Nazis choose the village of Lidice, which has 503 residents, for their revenge. They suspect some within the village support the attackers, but there's no real evidence of this.
Im Zuge der Fahndungen nach den Mördern des SS-Obergruppenführers Heydrich wurden einwandfreie Hinweise dafür gefunden, dass die Bevölkerung der Ortschaft Lidice bei Kladno dem in Frage kommenden Täterkreis Unterstützung und Hilfe leistete.
On June 10, 1942, a few hours after midnight, Nazi troops raid the village. They shoot 173 men on the spot. The women are sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp. Children under a year old and those selected for re-education through placement in German families remain alive. All other children are killed at the Chelmno extermination camp in Poland. Of the village's former 503 inhabitants, only 143 women and 17 children survived the war. After murdering or deporting the villagers, the Nazis destroy the entire village. The homes, the church, even the cemetery. They film the entire process. By 1943, only this empty field remains. For the Nazis, the destruction of the town is symbolic of their power. Usually, they would try to hide their war crimes, but But this time their brutality is on full display. The bloodbath turned into propaganda.
Nachdem die Einwohner dieses Dorfes durch ihre Tätigkeit und durch die Unterstützung der Mörder von SS-Obergruppenführer Heydrich gegen die erlassenen Gesetze schärfstens verstoßen haben, sind die männlichen Erwachsenen erschossen, die Frauen in ein Konzentrationslager überführt und die Kinder einer geeigneten Erziehung zugeführt worden. Die Gebäude des Ortes sind dem Erdboden gleichgemacht und der Name der Gemeinde ist ausgelöscht worden.
But even after burning Lidice to the ground and murdering most of its inhabitants, the Nazis aren't done. They want to find the men behind the attack. So they announce an amnesty. Anyone who comes forward with information will be spared. And there's a reward, 1 million Reichsmarks. One of Gabchik and Kubish's comrades takes the deal.
Yeah.
His name is Karl Chugda.
Retard.
His story is similar to theirs. He fled to Poland, joined the French Foreign Legion, and trained in Britain for special operations. He was also brought to the Protectorate for a mission. But on June 16, 1942, he decides to collaborate with the Gestapo in Prague. In exchange for a new identity and the cash, he gives them the assassins and the names of the families sheltering them.
What
One
a
of them
piece of
is the
shit.
Moravets family. The Gestapo storms their home. The mother takes her own life with poison, but her son is taken for interrogation. Using truly unspeakable methods, they break him. He eventually tells them what his mother once told him. If you're ever in serious trouble, go to the church of St. Cyril and Methodius. Inside this Orthodox church, Gabchik and Kubish have found refuge. Here, in the damp darkness of the crypt, the 2 assassins and 5 other paratroopers wait for orders from London. They know about Lidice. They know that hundreds of innocents have already died in the Nazi reprisals. Crushed by guilt, they consider committing suicide in a public park. They hope that leaving a note claiming responsibility might finally stop the killings. But before they can make their move, it's too late. The Nazis surround the church. Then, all hell breaks loose. 7 men against more than 700 SS and Gestapo troops. When the Nazis can't break through their defenses,
Hell
they
yeah.
flood the crypt. Kubish dies from injuries he suffered in the firefight. Then, one by one,
Well, at least they took some with them.
the other paratroopers choose death over capture. Some use cyanide, others their last bullets. In the end, both of Heydrich's assassins are dead. Dozens of resistors, entire families, are executed for helping them. Among them, Bishop Gorazd and other members of the Czech Orthodox Church. And the Nazis' revenge doesn't end there. Just days later, they wipe another village, the Zsáky, off the map. Every adult in the village is executed. Most children are deported and killed, and the village is burned to the ground. Like Lidice, the Zsáky simply ceases to exist. After the end of World War II, Nazi official Karl Hermann Frank, who ordered the mass murder in Lidice and the Zsáky, was convicted and executed. Karel Chugda had continued to work with the Gestapo until the end of the war. He then attempted to flee, but was captured and sentenced to death. He was
Good.
executed in Prague on April 29, 1947. Even after her husband's death, Lena Heydrich remained a prominent figure. She didn't return to Germany until 1945. After the country's surrender, her husband's property was seized, confiscated as the assets of a war criminal. She spent the rest of her life defending his legacy, repeatedly denying that her late husband was responsible for any
You know, it's a shame these Nazi women, a lot of them got off, like, completely. She should have been just thrown in jail for the rest of her life.
war crimes. In the 1950s, she won several lawsuits against West Germany, securing a substantial widow's pension and regaining her luxurious summer home.
Fucking bitch.
Today, a memorial stands at the site of the ambush in Prague. It honors Josef Gabčík, Jan Kubiš, and a third figure.
Is AK or AR better? Which one's more reliable? Entirely depends.
presented. If this was just a straightforward case of a man unsubscribing in custody, then video would quiet the noise. Video would answer questions. Video would end most of the debate. But instead, we're told that the footage that would have mattered the most isn't usable. Is that impossible? No. Cameras malfunction, technology fails. But in a case already layered with missing everything, it just doesn't help anything. It doesn't settle anything. It adds another wrinkle. And I need to say this clearly. I'm not a medical examiner. I did not perform this autopsy. I am looking at a photo that was shared publicly. But I have seen a lot of these types of markings in my career. And when I look at this one, something about the way it presents feels different than what I'm used to seeing with a soft material like a sheet. Sheets are fabric. They have give to them. Even when they're twisted up, they don't usually leave a super sharp, almost layered looking compression unless something very specific is happening. And what catches my eye in this image is that it looks pronounced, almost patterned. There's that main band across the front in the middle, and then what almost looks like a secondary area or line behind it. Now, could that be from repositioning? Could that be from how high it was tied? I mean, again, bodies are complicated, but when I hear bedsheet and then I look at that marking, my brain doesn't immediately go, yep, that tracks. It just makes me look a little harder. I don't believe it. Before I wrap this up, I do want to say something that I've been thinking about. Mark Epstein is his legal next of kin, and Mark Epstein knows where his brother is buried. It's kind of secretive. There's no public record of cremation, which means technically, if he wanted to, Mark Epstein could request an additional autopsy. He could have another full forensic examination done. He could even have Dr. Baden oversee it again. That option exists. So I do find myself wondering, why hasn't that happened? Now, I'm not saying that means something sinister. Exhumations are expensive and they're emotional. They reopen wounds. There are very real reasons someone might not want to go through that, and I understand that. But when you publicly question the findings and you have the legal ability to pursue another examination, it's a fair thing for people to ask about.
Dodo Donatellas, if the last two videos didn't put you to sleep, surely this one will.
This is me face to face with what could be the future of quantum computing. It was built by PsiQuantum, one of the most secretive quantum companies at the step in building a quantum photonic chips.
Yeah, I'm just not watching. That's too boring. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Nobody's asking it, so I guess I will. And I think this is where the bigger conversation comes in. I keep seeing talks of people saying, why are Americans still obsessed with this case? Why does this keep coming up? Because this Jeffrey Epstein case hits differently. This wasn't just a random criminal. This was someone connected to powerful, wealthy, well-known people. Names we recognize, institutions we were taught to trust. And when someone like that dies in federal custody under layers and
I don't think any of this has to do with some big plot where, you know, like other billionaires and super powerful people wanted him dead. Other people in the jail probably heard of the charges he was facing and just wanted to kill him because they thought he was a pedophile. Happens all the time, so that's probably what happened.
Welcome to day 2 of trying on dead.
Layers of weird circumstances. People don't just move on. For a lot of Americans, this felt like one of the first moments where they looked at the system and thought, wait, is everything as solid as we think it is? And whether you believe the official ruling or if you question it,
Yeah, I think he's...
And so just
I actually think he was very likely murdered.
based on the bones, just based on their physiques, when you're looking at Mr. Mike and Mr. Hussein, if you had to pick one as being a fake natty, let's assume one is natural, one is not. Who are you picking? Which?
I'd pick Hussein Farhat because he's more dishonest. So, yeah.
Body, which physique looks more unnatural? Coach Greg, in today's video, 2 of the best lifetime natties of all time training chess together. Mr. Mike, no, not that Mike, Mr. Delicious himself, Mike Thurston, who claims lifetime natural, who, of course, he isn't, along with Hussein Farhat, who...
I actually think he is. He did a video going through his blood work a while back, and, his hematocrit was very low. It was like 42. Like, there's just no chance this guy has been using gear and his hematocrit is that low. So, like, I guess you can make the argument that he was using steroids for a bit and then he came off. Sure, but... the guy lives in Dubai. Super fucking easy to get steroids there. It's just weird that he wouldn't be on gear. Just like, why would he care at this, especially at this point? So, I think he's actually natural. Also, when you look at his lifts, the guy isn't repping 405 on the incline press. Very just good, decent, like, numbers you'd see from a natural lifter.
who many believe also is a fake natty. I don't believe that to be true, and you know I'm going to give it to you straight, of which I don't think Mr. Mike actually is, and I'm talking about both Mr. Mikes. Hey, I said it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just 2 lifetime naturals. Mike's shirt is so tight if he sneezes he'll break a rib. Insane.
I miss when you used to let me be on top and ride you even though you didn't like that. Or when you would eat blueberries out of my toes with a Batman mask. I really miss that, Richard. We should reconnect, don't you think?
Yeah. Sure. Thanks for the donation. I'd really like to sniff girls' butts. I have, especially lately, have been craving the smell of a nice behind. I just love smelling girls' butts, man. Thanks for the donation.
Saying that Hussein is natty and close to your size in like 3 years, Magix. Well, frankly, it's 4, but the difference with Hussein is it's mostly from here to here.
No, I'd never go to Dubai.
Here, Hussein Farhat's upper body, it's stupendous. However, his legs are not up to the same caliber as Mr. Mike. Is it just me, or is this...
Vids to react to, please. Can you admit you were wrong about Tom Aspinall and slandering his name? You were wrong and the vid proves it.
Exploded from the
GG
woman,
fucker.
splattering the seats and dribbling down the aisle. She was on a flight when her stomach suddenly began hurtling, and she got up to use the bathroom. But she didn't make it. The smell hit immediately, making nearby passengers gag and retch. The crew's desperate attempts to clean it only spread the mess further, and it got so bad that the pilot decided to make an emergency landing. Diarrhea
Nasty bitch.
No.
Yeah, this is all
October
fake.
25th, 2025, which is almost...
The Tom Aspinall surgery thing is just all fake, dude. It's complete bullshit. None of this is normal. So he took photos like during whatever operation he was getting. And when you look at the social media post, like this is like he's literally basically doing some paid promotion with this doctor. It's fucking weird. But all of this is fake. I don't even know exactly what he fucking got done. It's really weird. These like bloodshot eyes, by the way, that is something that you'll commonly see with like LASIK. The suction cup thing that they place on your eye, sometimes people's eyes don't fit very well and they have to like press it on with more force, and that often breaks a lot of blood vessels in your eyes and you see stuff like that. So I don't even know what the fuck he got done. But it's all bullshit. There's nothing wrong with his eyes. He's just lying. And he's trying to stall out a forced rematch with Cyril Gahn. Like, he knows he's going to lose. So it's just all bullshit. Thanks for the donation, UK fandom. No, you didn't.
Mr. Mike looked like he just finished a workout. Look at him just standing there drinking a coffee with the arms with the bicep vein. And so do you know how you get that? From being not natural. Using performance-enhancing drugs, it's going to extend your pump for that much longer as well. This actually is natural, and it's using Cialis. If you use Cialis before you go to the gym and you just carry a heavy object. So, for example, Mr. Mike's phone with all the DMs from so many people, it's going to be heavier than last time, and he's going to get a little bit of a pump from just doing this. If you're not on Cialis, most likely you're not looking like this if you're natural. If you are natural and you use Cialis, well, if you have amazing genetics, you might look half as good as this, which to me is plenty. And so if you're interested in...
It's just a shame that woman's diarrhea explosion didn't happen on a plane filled with Palestinians.
Yeah, it is a shame. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Cialis and clomiphene, testosterone, which probably could help you to look half as good as these guys. Algo RX, code reg 10% off. Remember, they can give you your blood work. They can do the things. It's does a bunch of push-ups in secret before he even gets to the gym. Perhaps he trains at home before it doesn't look natural.
Oh yeah. Oh. Keep track of everything. We haven't even started to work out. How are you already pumped? It's just the way it is.
Exactly. Even Hussein notices. How are you already pumped? It's just the way it is. Well, imagine he's responded, well, 10 milligrams of Cialis along with a bunch of peptides, and I actually did a bunch of push-ups before I met you, and so that is my...
Considering how vain he is, it wouldn't surprise me if he did push-ups beforehand.
that he's already built up his muscles. Once the muscles have been built, perhaps you're using testosterone or peptides or SARMs, or you've been going to the gym for 15 years and you've already put on a lot of muscle. And if all you want to do is to maintain it, you only need to do 1/3 as much as you used to.
Gig kinda gotta poo, but don't want to get out of bed. Just keep a plate handy. Just poop on the plate. Then you don't have to get out of bed.
So what does that mean? Well, if you used to do 6 hard sets of chest, you now only have to do 2. And so it's a lot easier to keep the muscle once you've built it than it is to build it in the first place. And many of you, you know this. You know that muscle memory is a real thing, muscle nuclei, the whole thing. You know that once you've built said muscle, even if you take time off, if you've been sick or if you've been injured and you go back to the gym, the gains that you once had, good for the ladies, the men, I don't care. And so he does the minimum to get the most. And I see nothing wrong with that. Case in point myself.
The business and build like a personal brand and be successful on YouTube. And one thing that you mentioned is like, didn't want it to get to that.
Every time I hear him open his mouth, I just want to shut him up. Like, Hussein needs to shut his mouth and never talk. He's just so annoying. Like this broccoli-haired fucking douchebag. Like, go fuck yourself. Why does anybody watch this dickhead?
Extent, but when you're friends with Greg, it kind of just happened. Well, regardless, I got like 200 million views that month.
How's it working for him? Well, he's literally in Dubai working out with you, and so it's clearly been highly effective. You might be thinking, oh, but people think he's a fake natty. Yeah, they think he's a fake natty, despite the fact that he is 100% natural, and so why not talk about it? Just stay away from it, delete everyone's comment. You're a fake natty. Delete? Is it not better to tell people to their faces, you're a loser because your genetics and work ethic is worse than mine. I'm better than you. They're then gonna get their panties in a knot and think, oh, I hate you, you're a fake natty, you're a liar. And so the controversy, it keeps going. Hussein Farhat is one of the most famous, what people say is a fake natty in the world. One of the most famous in the world. And so is it actually working for him or is it not?
I've watched people like Simeon Panda, Mappins Fitness, where they would document the process of trying to prove that they're natural. Yeah. And still people are like, no, I don't believe it. Yeah.
Simeon Panda wasn't natural. All the guy had to do was get a blood test, and he got a hair follicle test, which doesn't show anything. And he did a lie detector test, which again shows nothing. Then he said he was going to get a follow-up blood test, and it never happened. So, like, the guy's full of shit, obviously.
Mike, he brings up a great point. Even if you try to prove that you're natural, people still aren't going to believe you. We've seen that with Hussein. He's posted his blood work 4 times. He's done a lie detector test, and he's passed every single time, yet people still say he's fake natty. Mike Thurston, on the other hand...
Lie detectors are just nothing. They're just bullshit.
Where's the blood work? And so Mr. Delicious, Mike, he says...
He's gotten blood work.
There's no point in trying to prove that you're natural because people aren't going to believe you anyway. This is true, but if you don't try to prove it, they're going to believe you even less. And so, hey, do what you want to do. If you really do want to prove that you're natural, you have to get your blood work taken when you're looking really good with no notice whatsoever. And it can't be a drug test. It needs to be blood work because...
The natty thing at this point is just fucking horseshit. Who fucking cares? If you do anything even remotely impressive, so many people won't even believe you're natural anyway. And, like, the only thing anybody cares about is results. Like, if somebody was taking IQ boosting pills, like, you know, there's that movie Limitless where the guy was taking a drug that made him smarter. Does anyone care if you're taking a drug to make you smarter? Like, if you can pass all the tests, exams, get ahead in life, make more money, get a better job, like, people care about results, so... Like, whatever, if you're bigger, stronger, look better than somebody else, that's all that fucking matters at the end of the day. It's all about fucking mogging, so, you know, whatever helps you mog. You know, just do it. Mog, motherfuckers. Ben Boyd and Tillers, why do people want to ban guns, but not cars when far more people die from car accidents and mass shootings? It's because, like, there's these gay people, and a lot of them are women, and they're fucking stupid. That's why. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
The blood work is going to tell the story. And then if you want to send your blood work to myself, remember, it has to be done with no notice. If I go through your blood work, I'm going to see if you're natural. Now, it doesn't prove that you're a lifetime natural, but if you're at your all-time best right now, and someone says, yeah, but you used to take steroids, how are you better now than when you used to take steroids? We've seen Connor Sinan, we've seen him, we've seen how much muscle he lost. That is what literally happens in the real world when you go off steroids. And so if you take steroids and you stop, you're going to lose muscle. And so if Mike wants to prove he's natural, he just has to look as good as he did when he was in Ibiza with the red shorts. You know what I'm referring to, Mr. Mike. And get your blood work and send it to Coach Greg. And I'm not talking about just your testosterone, I'm talking about everything.
I think a lot of people do underestimate what the human body is capable of naturally. I feel like there is a lot of crazy freaks out there that are just, they're genetic freaks.
And remember, Mike, who wants you to believe that he's natural, he believes himself that Simian Panda is natural, despite the fact that Simian Panda hasn't shown the blood work, the full blood work, to show all the other variables. And so why would you believe him? Would you believe me if I said, hey, I'm natural now, I'm not an HRT? Why would you believe it? But if I then posted my blood work and you saw my LH and FSH in the normal range, my testosterone was normal, you'd be thinking, well, maybe Coach Greg went off HRT. But without the blood work, you gotta call Cap.
Yeah, Thurston a few years ago got blood work. Again, the thing that everything was in the normal range. The thing that stood out to me though is the hematocrit. Like again, hematocrit at 42, like that is pretty low, even for a natural. Like mine, I think was 46 before I was on steroids, and it went to 48 when I was on steroids. So like, I just don't see him having a hematocrit that low if the guy was taking steroids.
I'm the biggest weight-wise, probably 190 something. Is that good? 7?
And so Hussein, he weighs in at 187 pounds. Mike Thurston, he's closer to 210, about 20 pounds bigger than Hussein. Hussein is about an inch, perhaps an inch and a half taller than Mike, but weighs 20 pounds less than him and isn't as lean as him. Y'all realize that Hussein is not nearly as big as Mr. Mike. I mean, you can say whatever you want. You can blame it on not having a proper tan, but Mike Thurston is actually massive, and if you don't believe it, I worked out with him. Remember, I'm an IFBB pro, and yet he still had more muscle than me. And so just based on the bones, just based on their physiques, when you're looking at Mr. Mike and Mr. Hussein, if you had to pick one as being a fake natty, let's assume one is natural, one is not. Who are you picking? Which body, which physique looks more unnatural?
It's almost better if you like gradually start building up your income over time instead of like 0 to everything. Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Now, guys, I know it's not a financial channel, but I do like to coach you up a little bit. As far as money is concerned, you only need a little bit. When you go from say $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year in terms of your income, it's.
This is coming from the guy who is one of those most money-hungry jackasses I've ever seen. Like, dude, at least half the supplements on his website are fucking horseshit. Like, he's selling terkesterone, probably #1 A-tier horseshit supplement. He sells test boosters, harder than last time, which is supposed to give you, like, harder erections. Even though it's not even much cheaper than fucking Cialis or Viagra, which actually works. Whereas the supplement doesn't do shit. Like, fuck Greg. I love how he's the one saying this.
Night and day. It's a huge change. But to go from 100,000 to 200,000, it's not really that big of a deal. To go from 100 to 1,000,000, there's less of a difference than going from 50 to 100. When you're buying cars, the car either works or it doesn't. If you get a $50,000 car and jump to a $500,000 one, it's not that big of a deal.
It is that big of a deal. You're an idiot.
It's not really worth it per se, unless you're making so much money that it doesn't matter. Once you have money, you have money. To go and buy a $5 million car when you already have a $0.5 million car, there's almost no difference. It's like a 10% jump for 10 times the money. And so be thankful that you don't need to be a multimillionaire to be happy. You do need to work, you do need to study, you do need to get a job, but by making 10 or perhaps 100 times more money than you do right now, it's not going to make that much difference.
Would you recommend you to move? Yeah. If I was you, I would definitely go to like where all the action and the potential is for just elevating yourself even further. Yeah.
If I'm advising Hussein on where he should live, he needs to avoid Miami. There's nothing good in Miami for someone like Hussein, somebody who's religious, who's not partying harder than last time. This is not the place you want to be. Never mind the taxes. When you live in Canada, you're essentially giving 50+% of your money to the government right away, and then there's taxes on top of that. In comparison, Dubai, the taxes...
No, that's not how taxes work here. Greg's just an idiot. I don't know if he's talking about capital gains tax, because capital gains tax here is fucking out of control. It's not even to tax the wealthy, it's just to prevent people from actually becoming more wealthy. It's fucking stupid. But yeah, capital gains tax, I think in Canada it's reached like 60% or something. It's fucking retarded, but no. there's a progressive tax rate and there's marginal tax rates. You don't just pay 50% of whatever you fucking earn. This guy's an idiot.
Are almost the lowest in the world. And so if he had to pick a place to live, it's clearly better for him to be in Dubai. Sorry, United States, that is the truth.
Have you competed before? Yeah, when I was 23, 24. I've done, I did one show. Greg coached me for it.
And so remember, he entered a bodybuilding competition that was drug tested. The only problem is they never tested anybody. Let me remind you, just because you enter a drug tested bodybuilding competition doesn't mean that people are going to think that you're natural. Doesn't mean that everybody is in fact natural. But if you do enter a drug tested show, it would be kind of nice for them to actually do some drug testing so they don't have problems like this. And remember, further show Hussein actually had a proper tan, and so when you're comparing his physique to Mr. Mike, maybe, just maybe, if he had a proper tan, he would be making Mike look bad. And so clearly you can see, now that Hussein has gotten a pump, his physique is catching up to Mr. Mike. He's standing in the background of the side laterals, and you can see visibly the chest is getting bigger, the arms, the vascularity. This is a true story. When I go and meet people in person who have never seen me, they've been a fan for years, oftentimes what they say is, you're way bigger in person. And I'm thinking, why do they all think that I'm small? I feel I look fairly big on camera, but one thing I do not do, that I never do, is a bunch of push-ups, bicep curls, side laterals before recording. Many people think that, oh, I care so much about how I look. I mean, I do, but not so much that I'm going to like do a fake thing, like pump myself up to look better for the camera. I don't do this. I show up and I record. And so oftentimes people see me, I'm in the gym and I'm working out and have a full pump. And so of course I'm going to look bigger.
I wouldn't say it's a case of, oh, I've been struggling to find the right person, because I've found a lot of very good candidates. So that's not a problem. It's just more so me going to pull the trigger.
Wow. I mean, is that not telling? Mr. Mike is like, look, it's not that I haven't found the right person. I've found a lot. He's talking about wives or husbands for marriage and so on. And so he's saying, you know, I just don't want to give up the freedom of not having kids. And so here's the thing. If you've met a lot of people, a lot of women, let's call it, let's assume that he's not gay. He's met a lot of females that would be a great wife. Well, where are they now? Like, just because you're not ready to have kids, you can't have a girlfriend? You can't be engaged, you can't have a wife? I mean, if you really love that person, they're amazing, they're perfect, why aren't you with them? It's not that he hasn't found the right person, he's found a lot, great candidates. It's that he feels selfish, that he doesn't want to be a dad right now, he doesn't want to have a family, and he's not ready to settle down. Well, you don't need to have a kid just because you can. Like, you're allowed to just stay with that person and say, hey.
Like, I think it's pretty obvious he just dates casually.
I'm in love with you, you're a great person, I would love to spend the rest of my life with you, and let's just not have kids right now. I see nothing wrong with that.
I've had a very good experience with women. Here, if you're a guy, you can't complain about being with someone or dating someone when there's literally been red flags everywhere.
He's right and he's wrong. Here's the thing. Look at this guy. Are you looking? Mr. Delicious himself. How many girls do you think want to go with a good-looking, fit, multimillionaire? In comparison, how many men are good-looking, rich, famous multimillionaires? There's not a lot. And so most men, they take what they can get. Mr. Mike, he gets whatever he wants. And so he has his pick of the litter, so to speak. And so he's saying he dates excellent women. He doesn't have to pay them. They're great girls. And technically, for that, I believe him. I believe he can date a really good girl. Other men, when they experience these women, they realize, I can't get the girl that I want. And so when I settle for this girl, it's because she's not good. And so if you want to get girls like Mike, well, grow a little bit taller, get a proper tan, have the proper hair transplant if you do, in fact, lose your hair. If you don't have an amazing physique, you know, do like Mr. Mike claims and be 100% natural. Now, if you're 100% natural, you can, of course, take Turk Platinum. You can take Turk Filter Max. You can get Blue Lobster. And if that doesn't work, you can go to Algor-X and say, maybe I have low levels of testosterone. Maybe you need HRT. Maybe you need some clomiphene. Perhaps you need peptides. Ask Mike if he's ever used peptides and see what he says. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm just going to tell you, I don't believe that Mike has never used peptides. I believe he's used peptides. I don't know if he's used testosterone before. I don't know.
You know, the seductive vibes that some of these women are giving off.
Yeah, like think of it. I mean, Larry Wheels in a similar situation to Mr. Mike, although not quite as attractive. He is in fact taller and has a lot of money. But yet, what if you go for a girl who doesn't choose you back? You know, somebody who perhaps wants to be with Rampage Jackson.
Larry Wheels is such a fucking idiot.
You know.
Wait, is that the same chick? I wonder if Larry Wheels has been paying for her plastic surgeries. Because her boobs got bigger. I think Larry's been paying for her plastic surgeries.
They don't choose you, you got to be careful. And besides all that, you know, you do what you got to do. You know, I'm just trying to give you advice, but this advice, you do have to take it. If you do get married, you sign a prenup. I don't care what you want to tell me. I don't care about any of that.
Don't get married. Yeah, just don't do that.
Shit. A prenup is a must. You can date whatever gold digger that you want. She's hot. She's worth it. Hey, by all means, if she's
the way you find them, where you find them. Yeah. It's important to find a girl at the club. You're expecting to get married, you know.
And so exactly, if you're meeting somebody in the club, well, she's a club girl. What do you expect? I mean,
do whatever with someone. It's probably not someone you want to be with. I don't usually.
If you took.
Pretty sure that's the same girl, dude. That was the same girl. Steroids or cope?
I don't know how this shit body
yourself with drugs is suddenly going to fix that for you. If you were okay with the risks and you want to pursue bodybuilding as a career, you're honest about it, you're not selling programs to people while claiming to be natural, go ahead. But if you're the average guy who just wants to build muscle, be athletic, get strong, and gain confidence, steroids are not the answer. There
are... yeah, they are. Sudden cardiac death, 20-year-old. So, what is this? Oh, this is that 6'7" tall guy, right? Let me look up this case report. I think they fucked up the case report.
Do you think owning a gun is worth it? I'm thinking about getting one, but I have anger issues, so my family says I can't.
No, get a gun. If you get the gun and point it at people, it'll calm you down. So yeah, definitely worth getting a gun. Thanks for the donation, dude. Let's look up Sci-Hub. The full report isn't here. I think he literally cherry-picked that really shitty case report. I saw it reported on. Sci-Hub is being locked in India? What the fuck? Oh, there we go. Sudden cardiac death. So first of all, in the abstract, it said his heart is 515 grams at autopsy. That's normal for an athlete. So an athletic heart or athlete's heart is a non-pathological, reversible physiological adaptation to intense exercise. Despite increased size, the heart weight typically remains below a critical 500-gram threshold. So his weighed in at 515. So it's right around what you'd fucking expect a normal athletic heart to weigh. And I'm pretty sure this guy was also 6'7" tall. Let me see. This case describes 20-year-old amateur bodybuilder, self-administered several anabolic steroids, suffered an instantaneous cardiac death with idiopathic bilateral pulmonary hemorrhage. Oh, 222, 5'11". Okay, it's not the same guy. Male bodybuilder, no past family history, cardiac disease. Collapsed suddenly, blah, blah, blah. Autopsy performed. So, let's see. The subject had a history of anabolic steroid use, had just completed 3-month cycle, several anabolic steroids in Mexico. Primobolan, testosterone, veterinary testosterone and enthate, and nandrolone laurate. That is a very unusual ester for nandrolone. What is what's the laurate ester half-life? 3 to 4 weeks. Oh wait, 10 days in rats. Okay. So it's a long ester. It's like similar to decanoate. It's hard to fucking say if this was from the steroids because, one, he was getting this shit from Mexico. Could have just had shit in it that actually was responsible, not the actual steroids themselves. Heart of deceased weighed 515. Normal heart, 250 grams. Yeah, normal people don't exercise. So again, a lot of athletes' hearts are around 500 grams. That's not abnormal. And especially since this guy was, what, 5'11", 222, that's a big dude. So you'd expect his heart to be a bit larger if he's larger and he's working out a lot. Definitive signs of concentric left ventricular hypertrophy. That's only a problem if it's maladaptive. Case reports idiopathic cardiomyopathy in athletes who use anabolic steroids. I don't know. So again, there's no actual data that they have based on the case report that suggests maladaptive cardiomyopathy. He might have just had a large, strong, athletic heart. So yeah, who knows? Pulmonary embolism or pulmonary hemorrhage, sorry. Not a great argument to say let me see if there's any association between that and cardiomyopathy. Bleeding, both lungs, respiratory distress. Infrequently caused by autoimmune diseases, lupus, vasculitis, infections, or severe medication reactions like thrombosis. It's possible that he had a thrombocyte, like he was on boldenone. Some people do have clotting issues on boldenone. And it could have been from an infection. Who knows? So it's possible, but again, there's nothing in the case report to suggest he had maladaptive cardiomyopathy. And the hemorrhage could have been from the gear, but it also could have been infection, some other disease, like, who knows? He could have had a parasitic infection.
There are countless examples of kids who took steroids and ruined their health before they even built their foundation. You might actually have top-tier genetics and just haven't put the work in yet. You might be able to build muscle easier than most people and never know it because you went straight to steroids and took the easy way out when you really didn't need to. You compare yourself to guys online who claim to be natural, and you compare yourself to the guys online who clearly aren't. You think the grass is always greener on the other side.
STX $22 are awful destroyed.
Goodbye, Miss.
Are you like Mama's already got Yeah?
This guy says he's looks maxing and he's smoking a cigarette.
Stop me a little bit.
What did you say to me? Yeah. Get out of here. Joe.
Okay, thanks for the donation, STX.
You want the easy way out, like everything else in life. Instead of going to the store, buying groceries, and making a healthy meal.
Steroids aren't an easy way out. They allow you to work harder and get more results. I don't know why there's this dichotomy where you either work hard and you're natural or you're lazy and you take steroids. Like, it's fucking retarded. You can be harder working and be on steroids.
You drive to fast food restaurants and order whatever feels good instead of what actually nourishes your body. Instead of pursuing real relationships.
I love how he says this when he's eating like absolute garbage food, fucking red meat and fucking eggs.
You pay for OnlyFans or adult content for instant gratification. Steroids are no different. They're unhealthy, they're the easy way out.
They are not unhealthy.
And they rob you of the process. You should want to be like men.
They do not rob you of the process. You can see what happens to people who take steroids and don't work out. You end up like Clav, a guy who's skinny and doesn't even have an impressive physique for a natural. So it's just nonsense. Like, unless you're some insane 1 in a billion genetic freak like Ronnie Coleman, you're not taking steroids and just blowing up from barely doing any work.
Who were naturally strong, worked hard, and did the right thing. They didn't need steroids to be confident or successful with women. So stop falling for the...
So, first of all, I love how he's giving like this as an example. What's his fucking name? This is like back in the 1950s and 60s. Nobody worked out back then. Nobody was lifting weights. Like, this guy would get mogged by random teenagers on fucking Instagram. So he's using an example of a guy who back in the fucking like 1960s was considered to have like some crazy god tier physique. Yeah, that's because no one fucking lifted weights or exercised ever. Like, you'd have farmers, maybe, like you'd have day laborers, bricklayers, you know, people who just, you know, maybe built, like, got a little bit in shape just because they're doing hard manual labor. No one actually lifted fucking weights. So it's so insane to be like, oh, this guy got bitches, he was natural. Yeah, at a fucking time when literally no one was fucking weight training. So obviously he's going to stand out against normies. Like right now, we'd fucking call this guy little fucking like manlet pencil neck fucking do you even lift faggot. Because there's fucking 15-year-olds who are benching twice what this guy could bench.
Needs women. So stop falling for the hype. They got big. They built muscle. They got
He was not big.
strong. Stop seeking external
Dude, this guy was fucking victim weight. He was like 180 pounds.
validation. Look inward. Find what makes you happy.
Oh yeah, look inward. Don't compare yourself to others. Be a fucking loser faggot. Don't be focused on winning and out-achieving others. Just, you know, do better than what you did last time. Just loser fucking talk.
Chase your own goals, aspirations, and dreams, not someone else's fake online image. The health effect.
Like, that is just so outrageously fucking retarded. Like, as if you're not competing with other people in the real fucking world. Like, and as if, competing with other people isn't a motivation to get better. It's just so retarded.
Effects matter. Longevity matters. As much as I respect people like Arnold, Ronnie Coleman, Lee Priest, Dorian Yates, Sergio Oliva, Frank Zane, Tom Platz, you need to realize that you are not them. And you don't need to look like them to feel strong, be strong, build muscle, and have confidence. There are so many natural physiques that you should be inspired.
What should I eat if the only vegan source protein that doesn't flare my autoimmune arthritis and MCAS is tofu? Eat tofu. What's the problem with tofu?
Inspired by. Steve Reeves is a perfect example. Eugene Sandow is literally the trophy for a reason. And Hackenschmidt, this guy literally invented the hack squat and the bench press. And he didn't need steroids. None of these guys you're looking at right now, or even...
Eugene Sandow was fucking tiny. This guy probably weighed like around 160 pounds, if that. Like, again, if they were around right now, everybody would be like, do you even lift, faggot? Haha, you can't even bench 315, little bitch. Like, holy crap, he's just using old world standards.
Around at the time that steroids existed, yet they looked extremely jacked. They were strong, they built real muscle, and a lot of them were actually strong men. Bodybuilding and strongmen used to be a type of sport that you would see in a carnival. I'm not telling you what your...
So, oh, they were really strong. These girls weigh 110 pounds each. So what is this? 110 plus 110 plus 45-ish pound bar, if that. That looks like it's probably standard bar. Just assume it's Olympic standard 45. Wow, he just deadlifted like 370? Or no, 270? That's strong? Deadlifting 270 is strong, apparently. Are you kidding me?
a carnival. I'm not telling you what your goals should be in the gym or with your body, but I am telling you this. Steroids are cope. They are not the answer. You do not need steroids to be.
So this is coming from a guy who, just like, what's his name? Atlas Power Shrugged, is trying to cope and convince everyone to hold themselves back so that, you know, if, like, he knows if he took steroids, he wouldn't be shit. So he's not shit on steroids. He's not shit natural. He wouldn't be shit on steroids. He wouldn't be able to compete against a lot of people. And this just allows them to make some like fucking weird cope excuse in their head that, oh, the only reason other people are better than me is because they're on steroids. I'm natural. Who cares about comparing yourself to others? Look at what this guy's lifting.
Easier than most people and never know it because you went straight to steroids.
Give me a fucking break.
When you really didn't need.
Elbow wraps with what, 225? Sleeves. He's doing 225 in fucking sleeves. And this is the guy saying, don't compare yourself to others. Steroids are for losers. Yeah. It's always the same. You'll never see any like huge natural lifters who are like genuinely like, you know, Mike Thurston kind of level, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, who would say steroids are for losers. I am on a moral high ground, because they don't need to cope. It's always these fucking dorks that need to cope.
You do not need steroids to be big, build muscle, gain confidence, inside or outside of the gym.
Yeah, but you do need steroids to incline press 405. You do need steroids if you want to be competitive in strength sports. You do need steroids if you want to be, you know, like Chris Bumstead. If you want to actually be like fucking huge. You need steroids if you want to be, you know, superhuman. So look, if you want any of those things, you know what you need to do. If you want to be a regular, everyday, normal jackass who isn't going to take advantage of modern technology and deliberately hold themselves back and not be as big and strong as you could, then yeah, stay natural.
In daily life, with women and relationships at work, everything that the gym gives.
Like, by the way, it is so bizarre. There is no other like circumstance that you could possibly think of that anybody would make it a taboo to use a drug to enhance performance. How many fucking dudes have seen infomercials on TV for Viagra and Cialis? Oh, male enhancement in the bedroom. They literally call it male enhancement. One of the best-selling drugs of all time. Every fucking dude is taking them. What else? Imagine, there's also just scam. I've seen those, 3 a.m. infomercial scam commercials. Grow your penis 2 or 3 inches. If there was actually a drug that would grow your penis by 2 or 3 inches, every dude would be taking it. Nobody would be like, oh, you're cheating. You're why are you comparing yourself to other people? You don't need to be like a porn star and have a big 8 or 9 inch or 10 inch dick. Why don't you just have a normal sized dick? Why aren't you okay with 5 or 6 inches? No one would say that. They'd be like, yeah, bigger dicks are fucking better. Give me a big dick. Everybody would be taking that fucking drug. I can guarantee, unless you're just fucking born with, you're just blessed and you have, some massive dick already, and if it got any bigger, wouldn't even be, worth using. Outside of those, every fucking dude would be taking, some dick pill that makes your cock, 2, 3, 4 inches bigger. Imagine if there was a pill that would make you smarter. So you could just instantly fucking learn things. You'd be a math PhD. You could learn a new language practically instantly. There would not be any fucking taboo about taking a drug that makes you fucking smarter. Everybody would be like, oh yeah, give me the fucking smart drug. I want to be smart. I want to be able to do more and learn faster and be more productive. Do you think there'd be anybody saying, oh, that's for losers who don't want to study hard. Why don't you like study for 3, 4, 5 times as long, waste your fucking time spending years on learning a new language when you could take this like super intelligence enhancing drug and you could learn a new language within a few days. Nobody would fucking say that. Like you name it, anything. Like no one would have a fucking problem with any other form of fucking performance enhancement. But for some fucking reason, when it comes to being bigger and stronger, that's for losers, that's cheating, why would you do that? I'll tell you why. It's because you've been indoctrinated by fucking society, by communist propaganda, that it's better to be a weak, small fucking faggot. Society's trying to fucking feminize you, and the one fucking taboo that we have with performance enhancement, oh, it's being big and strong. Nobody'd fucking care about performance enhancement in any other fucking sense, but to be big and strong, that is some evil fucking taboo that you should not cross. So this guy's a fucking beta male faggot, and society's trying to make you a beta male faggot, and he fell for the beta male faggot propaganda.
You getting stronger, pushing yourself mentally and physically, and staying disciplined. Teaches you lessons to carry for the rest of your life. You build grit, dedication.
Weird. Like, buddy, you think any of the fucking Mr. Olympia competitors aren't disciplined? Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's just so ridiculous. Like, dude, think of every fucking athlete who's gotten a gold medal taking drugs. It's the majority of them. Like 90 fucking % of gold medalists have been on something. The most tested athlete ever in history, Lance Armstrong. He was taking fucking testosterone, growth hormone, and some other ancillary fucking drugs that like just boosted his hematocrit and shit. Was Lance Armstrong lazy? Was he not dedicated? Did he not train hard? Like, it's just so ridiculous.
Dedication, confidence, longevity. It's like a video game. Do you want to pay to win and instantly have better gear than everybody else? I play World of Warcraft. There's a new boost for characters right now.
This analogy makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever.
I'm tempted to buy it and play with my friends, but that's the easy way out. And for what? You miss the game, you miss the journey and all the lessons you learn along the way. That's the entire...
Again, steroids don't make training irrelevant. You still have to train hard. And the whole point of taking steroids is to surpass what you can naturally. In order to do that, you need to train hard. Like, show me one fucking person who looks like Kazuya from Tekken 8, just absolutely fucking massive and jacked, who doesn't fucking train hard. Does anybody you know who takes steroids, who, like, is lazy and doesn't train hard, do any of them look like Chris Bumstead? Like, you're a fucking idiot.
Point of lifting, bodybuilding, and being fit, the process. When you take...
Is there a way to avoid carpal tunnel from using GH? Yeah, don't take too much and keep an eye on your thyroid values.
The easy way out, you miss the memories, you miss the lessons, you miss the foundation. Then you get injured, you get sick. You're dealing with long-term health.
You get injured and sick if you're natural. Happened to me plenty of times. I strained both of my pectoralis tendons going for a 410 bench when I was natural. It happens.
Consequences. And for what? To impress other men? This video isn't meant to scare you. I just want you to understand this.
Like,
you don't need the validation.
This is just so fucking stupid.
From anyone else. Steroids are not the answer because they make you miss the entire point of why you started lifting in the first place. If you want to learn how...
Yeah, so this guy's a dumbass dork. Fucking loser beta male.
Ruined my career. If I didn't use I could probably compete for another 15 years. But when I broke my journals, I found a page with those masters thing. Master was taking a day.
No way.
Yeah. 25 milligrams 3 times a day, 8 hours apart was common. My insulin protocol, I always believed it 45 minutes before training. You remember after that wrong injection of Synthol and went through my heart and I got that ARDS. They rushed me to the hospital, and I'm listening to the dispatcher. He's like, "Oh, I don't think he's gonna make it to the."
Oh shit!
So I'm there, right, and I'm listening like, "What do you mean I'm not gonna make it?" Right? So when I got there, the fucking nurse, she said, "Oh, are you organ donor?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not organ donor." Here comes my ex. And you say, I had my issue with ex. I said, "Don't you fucking give my organs, you know?" But anyway, all the nurses, all the, doctors, they're like, "Oh, so bad, too bad. Yes, sir."
Dude, it's funny how, like, synthol is the thing that gave him health problems, not the steroids. Like, again, just goes to show you. What kind of accent does your dad have? Haitian, French, Nigerian? He doesn't have an accent. I think he moved to Canada when he was, like, pretty young. I think 5 or 6 years old from Antigua. So he doesn't have an accent.
So young to die. Like, what the fuck? In Serbia, really, even if you're dying, they're going to tell you, like your father is telling you, "Oh, you're going to be okay." You're going to be okay. Like, half of your face is going, "Oh, you're going to be okay." Here, they were writing me off. So, okay, let me reverse a little bit. That was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was going to do the guest posing for Joe Either. And I had to do one more shot of, at the time I was using synthol, right? Inner triceps. I can't reach it. So I told my ex-wife to do it. And, she poked me and she didn't aspirate, right? And squirt in. And it was just like somebody punched me in the chest. I fell down.
Oh, she hit a vein.
It was like, oh my God, it was horrible. So I was already sleepy. I was just going to do that and go to sleep, right? And now, she went back to sleep and I'm on the floor. Feeling is, and if somebody ever gets it, you guys from maybe Tranborn shot or something, it was just like a pinhole that you can breathe in. Right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to calm myself and I'm going to get back to my son. And I couldn't.
Oh my God.
I couldn't. Now I can't call her. Right? And she's fucking sleeping. So by the time I crawl on the floor and wake her up, and she's like not responding. So if I called the ambulance. So when they came in, my all vital signs were gone. And this time when they put me in a paramedic's car, literally that's what I'm hearing. I'm not going to make it. And I feel like, okay, there's something major, but you're expecting they're going to relieve it somehow. The moral of the story is they call my mother and sister. My sister is a surgeon, right? Doctor. And they tell her, you have less than 24 hours to see him alive. And I'm listening to all this shit, So heck, no, I don't want to fall asleep, right? Because like if I fall asleep, then what? I'm not gonna. That's it.
Wait. In your mind, were you in denial or were you freaking out? You're like,
well,
I'm not
I was
dying.
freaking out. At this point, I was freaking out by all means, right? So the opposites, like in Serbia, they would tell you, "Oh, you're gonna be okay," like your dad, right? "Oh, you're gonna be okay." "Oh, you can't breathe. Who cares? These fucking people, they're ripping me off. And then my wife, being religious, she brought the priest to fucking pray, like to send me to heaven, Anyway, that's ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, that I guess could be severe. And I was there. Now that you said your story that your dad is that way, that's how my parents are, right? You're super bad, but they go, "Oh, you're okay. You're okay.
You're good. You're good."
You're okay.
Yeah.
So it's crack. Anyway, I had to share that story.
Anytime I feel like any girls I'm seeing always get sick, like deathly sick, like absolutely terrible, and then I'm always completely fine. Just
you're young.
Honestly,
let me tell you, that's another thing.
Genetically inferior species, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Edit that. Milos is like,
wait. You were mentioning synthol. I actually wanted to ask, honestly, what was oil use like back then? I feel like lots of people have been bringing this up recently.
I said that story, so the same keeps repeating himself, and they're so sick of it. So I don't know if you hear this story, but that's early 90s, let's say 95, 96, and it was this German bodybuilder, Manfred Holber or something, with the craziest arms you've ever seen in your life, right? Mm-hmm. And he shows up at Olympia, walk around, and then, of course, a lot of people, wondering, but none of us really knew. And then there was some South African guy also that showed up at Olympia. You see, it was not such a bad job like now people can do it. And what I end up making myself with my arms look like 1999 Night of the Champions, it was ridiculous. I'm embarrassed. But it looked like borderline possible, right? So when you have a smaller arms and judges are telling you, well, with the bigger arms, you can maybe be a contender and win some shows, right? So you get tempted. And to make long story short, somebody, I don't want to mention the names because now they're all criticizing me if I say the name like I'm picking on that guy. Somebody famous from the Olympia was using.
Nigerians smell like chicken. Donate $2.
Calling the Mach 5. Come in, Speed. Trixie calling the Mach 5.
I'm in the middle of a race, Trixie. Don't talk to me now. Can't you wait till it's over?
Speed, listen to me. Eloise's brother Hatton's got to win. Please let him.
Why should I let him win? I'm out to win myself. Now sign off and don't bother me.
But Hat must win so that he can pay for the doctors to make his sister well. And besides, Hat would then be hired to manage a big car factory. That would solve all their money problems. Please let him win, Speed.
It doesn't matter to me what his reasons are for wanting to win. I wouldn't be playing fair if I let him win the race on purpose.
But Speed!
I'll see you when the race is over, Trixie.
But Eloise is ill. They must have some money. Please let him win, Speed. Speed! Speed! Speed!
Based.
Speed wins!
Yep. Losers lose, man.
Negawatt. Negawatt.
Say bitch ass nigga. Say it. Say it. Say it. You can say it. Say bitch ass nigga.
Thanks for the donation. N-words smell like chicken.
And his partner gave it to me, like 12 bottles to give it to somebody else. And I asked him, hold on a second, what is it? It's the same cold, everybody's using it. Say, can I get some? He said, just take half. And that's how I started. That's 97 Olympia that I started using Synthol. Now, at that time, what that oil was, I have no idea, right? I don't think that anybody ever figured out what that really is. The bottom line is, we are monkey see, monkey do business, and they just need to sell you a story like it binds to your fiber, it enhances the diameter, and all this bullshit, right? Obviously, yeah, it's not like that. But I started injecting it, and when your arm blow up like a couple of inches that you always wanted to have it, you kind of like it, and then you know what I mean. Yeah. And then you start putting, what else can I put? I can put in my calf, and I had a good calves, right? But I didn't have a freaky calves. And I've seen a couple of guys who say, okay, if that works there, let me. If you see some of those pictures in 99, my calves look ridiculous. I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Ian better be watching this.
Yeah, but.
Let me see if I can find images of that. Oh, wait. That's 91. Milo Sarchev, 1991. Oh yeah, his arms do look fucked up. Yeah, his arms do look weirdly fucked up. Yeah, they looked like they were injected with Synthol in 99. I don't know if he did it for the British Grand Prix. Maybe? Yeah, I don't know.
So I went publicly and said to everybody, this is single-handedly something that ruined my career. If I didn't use a Synthol, I could probably compete for another 15 years. But all these injections, they created that fibrotic tissue and necrotic tissue. And really, after a while, it atrophied. So when you have something decent and you try to enhance it, you sell your soul to the devil, and then he comes and claim it. It's always like this. So I've seen many times when you look at it, now it's this new thing, whatever they call it. We talk about recently on the podcast from Brazil. You guys know for sure.
I don't have any of my guys doing like that.
Not even the PPM, whatever stupid shit. I literally don't know. Neither did I wanted to find out after this bad experience. I mean, if it's not anabolic and something that makes sense, why would you use it? Why did I use it? I just told you and confess. I was always told, like, just with a little bit more volume, a little bit bigger arms, I could be contender. Now, these guys are using it, so like, well, let me try it. And then really, I got my arms to 22.5 inch, right? So this Sean Ray was calling my 17-inch pythons, right? So now I'm bigger. My pythons are bigger than yours. It was really ridiculous because it didn't even look like a normal muscle.
Okay. So what about all these people that are like saying that you can do it in the right way? Make it look like it's actually...
That's like the people who say you can use DNP the right way.
Yeah. You see, this is exactly what I want to warn everybody. Tell me what I want to hear it, right? Oh, it's not so bad. And if I do it in the right way, I can get away with it, right? And then that's how it goes. I mean, of course, it doesn't come with instructions, right? Because I got the oil. I say, okay, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. I'm going to inject in a small muscle that I want to blow up. Those biceps, triceps. I didn't do it in adults, because I was happy with my adults. And I regret doing it in the calves too, because now my calves are like all atrophied. They look like fucking flamingo legs. Yeah.
No.
But it's not the right way. The right way is don't do it. And I'm seriously, I know that there's a lot of people coming to watch your podcast. My honest to God message is don't ever think about it. I had like probably 50 bottles left that I didn't use. And I didn't give anybody away like, okay, you want to use it? I smashed them all and threw them in the can. Because I would not want anybody to go through what I went through and look like what I look like.
That's good advice. Huh.
Yeah. It is definitely not something that people would reach for.
Just a hypothetical question, not to dig this any deeper, but if you were to, if you inject the same amount of oil as you would had you hypothetically gained that amount of muscle, would it be significantly below the weight cap of weight that you're gaining? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
asking for a friend because obviously I wouldn't do this or anything.
Weight cap. I mean, I don't know. Hold on a second. First, are you asking that somebody that is doing it and you're just trying to find a way how to do it right?
I guess I'm curious. I'm curious if a classic competitor used that these days, would it help him look more voluminous without having to push him too far above the weight cap?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, right?
Yeah, but it's the wrong thing to do. I don't want to even say it. It's the wrong thing to do. I'm serious. Now, if you're a friend of that guy, use this video and tell him, stop this very moment before it's too late. He's going to change the anatomy if his anatomy, and the fiber is not going to be the same. I mean, right now, I can do anything I want to do for my arms. My arms are dead, and that's what's going to, there's no that high muscle connection and strong contraction and, that you can feel it firing. Yeah. And what for? For this temporary little volumization? We use anabolic steroids to inject locally into the muscles. That I could see. Okay, if that's what he wants to do, maybe that would make much more sense. I mean, Danny James is going to kill me when I say it, but like his side triceps with a little bit of winstrol, it was like, holy shit, that's like best lateral triceps I've ever seen in my life, and look normal and look good. There was a lot of testosterone propionates all over the Europe, the German kind, Italian kind, whatever they made from the pharmacies.
Emma Donny Tellers, how come you never tried couples therapy before going nuclear option? Because it's a waste of time, money. It's stupid. Thanks for the donation.
When you inject the biceps, you would be like volumizing and making hard inflamed in a good way.
Interesting.
Okay? Yeah. So.
Same as Jeff, Fire Donny Tellers. I'm maintaining 13% body fat, eating 2100 calories. Everything is tracked. Do you reckon hopping on tests while keeping my diet the exact same will get me leaner? In all likelihood, yeah. You got leaner on your transformation without lower cals going from natty to enhanced. Yeah. Thanks for the donation, James.
You remember Ernie Taylor? With the stupid triceps, right? And everybody was saying like, oh yeah, that's Synthol. He says no, it was not Synthol. It was just like everything he was injecting there. So you locally have this kind of effect.
Damn it! I used to follow his tricep workout from Flex Magazine when I was in high school, thinking my triceps were going to blow up. Man, I was trying.
Yeah, I mean, actually, now I watched last night a little bit of your podcast with Dr. Dean. A very, very good guy. very informative. And a couple of things that he was saying, like, okay, if you inject locally, would it make local results? So it goes systematically. And even by the theory, it's picked up and it goes systematically. There is something that happens locally that you can visually see it. And that's why all of us were doing it, right? Sometimes real science and bro science is like, okay, gram of theory, a gram of practice, right? It comes to the gram of practice can be heavier than ton of theory, because if you really try it, then, okay, why do I need to blindly trust authority and trust the history or science blindly? Okay, you say it's not working? Let me try it for myself. Oh, check it out. It is working, but it doesn't supposed to work. Okay, so which way do you go? You know what I mean? On that note, if the gentleman that you're talking to, classic physique, I assume if he's using Synthol is being used just for small muscle groups. They're probably arms. He's way better off injecting whatever else he's injecting steroid-wise than Synthol.
All right. Wow. It's crazy. I would have been injecting my calves way long ago.
Oh my God. I injected calves once in my life. I never do it. Like, just like the tissue there just looks so tender.
Yeah. Tender and veiny. Real nice.
Actually, right there is my blown up calf. There's a 99. But even though that picture, you can't really see it. But I sent you some photos. Like they were stupid. I couldn't put them through the jeans. They was like so big.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. It felt good for a while, and then until it didn't feel good. And then it's like, God damn, look at that.
Well, I guess I really don't know anything. I didn't know that I could really depreciate your muscle in the future.
Oh.
Well, do you ever, Milos, do you remember disappearing lat syndrome that's been occurring with current bodybuilders, right?
Yeah, but you see, there is something about injecting and hitting the nerve. And I've seen that.
Right.
I've seen this with Nasser Al-Somebody. I had a 1995. At that time, I was good friends with Nasser, right? And you can't reach your lats. So I said, okay, at that time I was still not married. The ex-wife, that happened like much later. But Nasser injected for me. And even when I was standing in a relaxed pose, there's just a couple of fibers were shut. You could see like whole. And then that thing, it basically, somebody told me and revived it and then went back to, but then I see him on Hidetara Yamagishi, I see him.
Yeah, lat injections don't seem like a good idea. People seem to be getting problems from them.
On Big Ramy, on who else? I think maybe even Yavalier had it at one point, right? It's just like fibers are not going all the way to insertion, right? There's something that was missing. I think it's neurological.
Because it's funny, is like I looked at bodybuilders and followed like Bonac and Dexter for years. And then when you see their physiques, it's like that didn't happen. And all of a sudden you see newer, younger physiques come in. They come in and they fade faster. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to say names. Maybe I'll say after the podcast. But like I can think of 3 specific people that like made it out quick and then they disappeared relatively quick. But that you have bodybuilders from like I said, Dexter, Bonac, who've been competing forever.
Yeah.
And like I don't see that happen to their physique. I didn't see it happen to Ronnie's physique until he hurt his lat. Remember his lat? And that was like stemming from his spine. But like, dude, I don't know. And then people are theorizing that like they're over injecting their lats, and that's hitting the nerves and then not allowing the lats to fire.
I mean, it happened to me, and that's what I have a library of 200,000 photos. So it's hard for me to find it, and obviously I didn't want to save it. The one that my few fibers are missing. But it happened to me. I was like, God damn, I'm looking at myself on a stage and it's visible. And that was from shock. So I assumed that this is also what's causing everybody else. But then they don't really inject the lower lats, right? So
I mean,
you wouldn't inject the lower lats, you would inject the upper, yeah. So I've seen there some, but that's not the disappearing lat. Disappearing lat would be like a Big Ramy, right? The bottom, which you don't really inject it there. So I don't know how that happens.
Okay. I've been injecting my lat, honestly, for quite a bit. Not consistently. It's normally shoulders and, venture glutes. But I feel like maybe I haven't been doing it long enough for that to happen, or I just didn't hit that risk of like hitting a nerve or something.
You haven't used compounds that cause massive inflammation or,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You do it yourself?
Injecting my lats?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm small. It's easy for me.
All right. Yeah.
Still got 17 more pounds before maybe I'll be big enough to be able to do that, or not be able to do that.
Milos is like, you can do your own shoulders and your lats.
I heard from other guys, okay, one of the Mr. Olympias would shoot even in a trap. Like, how the fuck?
Damn.
How the fuck do you shoot?
Come on, that's freaky. But Lats, I would understand from the side. The other guy was famous one. I'm also gonna not be mentioning. I'm get serious, and I know now that you would be interested in 90s stories and all that stuff and what's believed as you can, like spray it in. No, it's suppression. I've never heard this in a 80s or a 90s. None of us.
Gegan Veins donated 220. Wait, how did you get leaner just hopping on tests without lowering calories? It's nutrient partitioning. You just end up gaining so much more muscle mass, and your metabolism increases so much. You end up just getting leaner. What's the mechanism of action? How significant was the fat loss you experienced from testosterone, independent of lowering calories? Well, I mean, you can just look, have the update photo on Instagram. So that was a 17-pound weight gain. And I got a little leaner. You can see on my lower stomach there. You can see some more like detail on my like chest, shoulders. Traps blew up like fucking crazy too. But yeah, you can see that I noticeably got leaner. So probably, like, if I had to guess, maybe 3-ish pounds leaner. Maybe 4 or 5, but probably around 3 pounds leaner. And yeah, just a lot more muscle. That was in 2 months. Thanks for the donation, Gegan Veins.
Really?
I'm get serious. And I know now that you would be interested in 90s stories and all that stuff and what's believable, what's unbelievable. I'm here. I'm still shooter. I will always tell you the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
The anadrol, I know that many people in the States, I mentioned myself, else and body, right? And I have I showed that. Do you see when I went to Jay Cutler's podcast and I brought my journals and then he was flipping it and then I find a page with those, Master's thing. Master was taking 10 anadrol a day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And why? I have that book over here. I can pull it out right now.
10 anadrol. Doesn't that normally come in 50 milligram tablets? So he's taking 500 milligrams of anadrol a day? How the fuck do you take 500 milligrams of anadrol a day?
PDR from whatever, 1994, 5, 6. When you would look at the oxymetholone, and recommended dosage was 5 milligram per kilo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Per kilo.
Okay.
Holy shit. Wait, no way.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, look at the medical journal states that.
What?
Yeah. I can find a copy and then send it to that.
Medical journal.
Wait, no way.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Package was 5. Look at the oxymetholone, and recommended dosage was 5 milligram per kilo.
What the fuck? So, a 60-kilo woman. 300 milligrams? So I know anadrol is FDA approved to treat anemia. I don't know if that's specifically to treat anemia. That's what that recommended dosage is. But holy fuck, that is a massive dose of anadrol.
Yeah, I remember that.
Per kilo.
Okay.
Like, are you only supposed to take that one time?
Holy shit. Wait, no way.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, look at the medical journal states that.
What?
Like, by the way, most people only take about 50 milligrams of anadrol a day for like only a few weeks. So he's taking like 10 times the dose most people take.
Yeah. I can find a copy and then send it to you. I used to have all those.
You can't feel great.
Of course not.
That's insane.
But this is how it was. 25 milligrams 3 times a day, 8 hours apart, right, was common. Okay. And then there was, 50 milligrams times 3. And then people started taking, man, I'm not going to crack the tab on a half. I'm just going to have a 3 a day. So that's how it became, 150 milligrams a day.
Wow. That's wild.
I'm all set with that shit.
But nobody complained. Okay. D-ball, on the other hand, was major appetite, booster. And for example, in the Dominican Republic, I know I was there, and you can buy it in the pharmacies. They also have a sleeping agent with your D-ball. So I don't know if you know, my friend is from Australia. He's a coach also, and
Ambien and D-ball.
Yeah, so exactly. He came to the Dominican Republic to train, and all this promised guys, in 2 weeks, I'll put 10 kilos on you, 20 pounds, 22 pounds, right? So he came with that idea, and we would do 2 workouts a day, my insulin protocols and all this shit, bomb him with everything and anything, and then obviously there's the cycle. But he was taking that D-ball, and he was sleeping all day.
Son Goku Donatillers, you ever consider reading Tokyo Ghoul? I think you might like it. I saw the Tokyo Ghoul anime. It was okay. I don't think I'll ever commit reading Tokyo Ghoul.
And you can ask them this. Conservatives will say, I'm tired of spending money in Ukraine when we should be spending money on our own people. It's like, oh, okay, fine. Let's say tomorrow we stop spending money in Ukraine. Are you for single-payer healthcare? No, they never are. Are you for expanding, food stamps? No, they never are. They don't want to spend the money here anyway. So it's like, well, what the f are you even talking about? You don't want to help the foreign countries, and that's it. And you're using local Americans as some excuse. Right. But when the f do Republicans ever ask to expand anything relating to social spending? They never do. Every time.
Yep. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
Because I didn't realize they put the sleeping aid into the methanol, right? So they just want you to, be sleepy and put the weight on the cow.
That's crazy. At least you got some rest. That's wild. I can't imagine just dousing yourself in sleep aid consistently on a daily basis.
I hate sleep aids, dude.
Really? Wait, why?
Like sleeping drugs.
Yeah.
Like Ambien, Benadryl.
No? Yeah.
No.
You don't like it? Why?
Nope. It doesn't even allow me to get restorative sleep, and yet the rest of the day I'm completely drowsy and retarded.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little bit the opposite, to be honest. It actually helps me a lot to stay consistently, I wake up a lot during the night, normally at least 2 times. So when I take that, it definitely helps me stay asleep, which is a big thing. But then I just try to supplement with as much alpha GPC and choline, CDP choline and everything else during the day, just so I don't increase my risk of dementia, whether or not that's really helpful or that's actually reducing the risk or not. But I think it's better than not getting any sleep at all, right?
Oh yeah, because we know that bad sleep will kill you fast.
Yeah. With peptides growing substantially in the last couple months alone, honestly, we could list out a long list of all the peptides that have helped us. You guys have heard these peptides and these research chems in the podcast maybe a million times. Peptides I've used from APR such as BPC 157.
A lot of energy. I could never take more than 60 micrograms in my life. And one of my friends like, bro, I'll take 80 micrograms in a cold brew coffee, and ignored it. And I had no idea it was exactly that until somebody mentioned to me one day. And I'm like, really? I thought it was just my own response. And then I tried it again, and I'm like, it is anxiety. And I pulled it. And after 10, 14 days, it started to dissipate. And then that's one. NPP as I got older, or DECA as I got older, just the normal noradrenaline side effects. Psychologically, you're up and you're down. When I was younger, test DECA D-ball, I ran every offseason, and I put on 40 pounds of stage weight, and I never had a side effect, never ran Novodex, and it was great. Halo testing the 50-50.
Kid Boo, Donatillers, my nigga Andrew Wilson schooling these commies.
There isn't rights at all. From your view, rights are a social construct, aren't they?
Rights are whoever is able to enforce them.
That's right. So it's a social construct. Do you believe in objective truth?
No.
So I can't believe anything you say, and you don't believe that there's any such thing as rights, but it's wrong for me to do something bad to you, even though there's no moral facts. Ingenious. This is your opposition, ladies and gentlemen.
Andrew is not able to define what a moral fact is. So thanks for the donation though, Kid Boo.
I have to play constant country music just to keep myself calm and relaxed. Because Halo, I loved it, but it also, somebody says something to you and you're just kind of like, that motherfucker. Then you start thinking about that for the rest of the day. But other than that, those are the only ones that really give me issues. But I also never used high doses of pretty much anything in retrospect to people today. But AQ was very specific anxiety, couldn't sleep, anxious all the time, wide awake, Halo testing, 50-50, very just aggravated all the time. And I don't want to be aggravated. And that's it.
I think that you and I talked about it. Because not me personally, but I had several close friends that they would call me 2 o'clock in the morning, and they have to drive off their house on the Baldenon because they just can't stay there. They have extreme anxiety. They just have to drive and not be in the house.
I haven't gotten any anxiety on Boldenone. It just makes me relaxed.
And be anywhere. And if the guy was doing this every time on I do the mini cycles, like 4 to 6 weeks of this, and then switch to something else and something else. Every time when he was on EQ, I realized that's what was happening. That's how we put 2 and 2 together. That he has to be EQ. Choletastin, you don't want to give to the like serial killer personality because it's gonna go on the rampage. I've seen that one.
Chris.
Yeah. You know what also was very popular back in the early 90s that is no longer? It's that sublingual metal test.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but that would make you, roid raging, like wanting to hurt somebody just because they're looking at you. You know what I mean?
You could train forever.
Yeah. It's one of those things. They are also, now I remember every time when I went to Dominican Republic, you could actually get the metal test. And there is a rooster on the box. Why? Because they give it to the roosters they're fighting because they go crazy.
Oh, what?
The fuck?
Give me that shit.
Yeah. Hey, what's the Dominican Republic? You can buy it in a pharmacy, man.
Think about how crazy bodybuilders are.
Okay, Dominican people are fucking retarded.
Or they pick up a package, they're like, why is there a cock on this bottle? And they're like, well, we give it to roosters so they tear each other's head off. Perfect. This would be good for leg day.
Fire.
Yeah. I know this is embarrassing, but I'm telling you, I got to Amsterdam for one of these Grand Prix. And
but that's where fundamentally like it started to improve and being very consistent. Yeah.
I see.
I couldn't really tell you that there was any major thing for me that I changed. Obviously, I started not knowing the exercises, not knowing which muscle and how to do it, speed, tempo, rep, range, and all that stuff. But it just all came naturally. And then I was just, building on it. Obviously, the major thing came 87 when I introduced the steroids, obviously. And steroids.
How old was that? How old were you at that age?
1987, 23.
23. Gotcha.
Because keep in mind, I came from Yugoslavia. Like I said, there was not much information. Information that was in Yugoslavia at the time. I remember there was all the booklets. Anabolic steroids like so dangerous and not useful. They don't do nothing for performance. They don't do nothing. It's just like harm. Yeah, there's no point of taking them, right? So I had that magazine with Arnold and Lou Ferrino, right, from Germany, and say like no anabolics, right? So I came to America believing that all these bodies are natural. I went to Miss Universe to compete naturally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said it. I think I told you, Chris, when they asked me like what was I using, and I told them amino acids and vitamins, and they told me fuck you, right? And I don't speak English, but I know what that means, and I didn't understand really. Like, okay, so I better not speak because they're pissed off at whatever I'm saying, but they didn't believe that I was drug free because it's just like a normal thing to do. So I went to California. I entered a couple more shows.
Wow.
Some amateur Ironman, some whatever Super Bowl bodybuilding. I remember it was. So I realized soon enough I came here to compete and be Mr. Olympia, and I'm losing to the locals. And why? Because they're doing what they're doing. So if I needed to join the big boys, I had to do what the big boys do. Yeah. And that was like 87, I do remember. And so when I decided to do it, like, of course, scared shitless, like everybody should be. Then, at the time you don't have information, you shouldn't be just doing anything just because. But, once I started, I could feel why is doping, why, the people taking superior physically, how much muscle they can put and then what kind of workouts they can handle. It was just really, I catch that from your podcast. A lot of you guys still don't believe maybe stories from the 90s, like what we were saying that we were using, it just doesn't look believable. But any of the guys that I know from the 90s, we were pretty much, I'm going to tell you a very short a statement. You are on a cycle, and if there was 8, 10, 12, 16 weeks, somebody would maybe go 24, then we will go at least half time off. So if you're 8 weeks on, 4 weeks off, 10 weeks on, 5 weeks off. And when we were off, we were literally off of everything. It was PCT, right? But there was no like cruising and bridging and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That was me from the beginning. That was everybody else that I worked with at the time. You mentioned like Kevin Leveronia, like 6 months on, 6 months off. And, Kevin was known for disappearing and then looking like a swimmer. And 6 weeks later, he was like a top 2 Mr. Olympia, you've seen Arnold back in the day, right? There's a lot. If you look pictures of Arnold along the way, and then you see the dates, like, whoa, Arnold looked like a crazy Mr. Olympia in these shows, and then a few months later he looked quite normal, and then he would get back and be jacked again. Sean Ray was doing like 6 months on, 6 months off, right? So in general, when we were doing cycles and I had journals of everything, normally 12 or 16 weeks would be before the contest, right? That would be the cycle. And then you would try to be at least 8 weeks off and sometimes more. So this is really how it was. And obviously when you're on a cycle, you can tell major differences. And then of course, when you're off the cycle, the goal was always to train just as intense or try even harder. So my training partner, he was a powerlifter from San Diego, David Fletcher. He would always be there that we have to train harder when we are off than when we are on, because it's easy to train hard when you're on. And diet wouldn't change. I know that nowadays people are like having off-season. My diet didn't change for 20-something years. Off-season, pre-contest, there's minuscule differences, right? And then just implementation of pharmacology and then losing some body fat for the show. But the same eating habits, Chris knows very well. Yeah. I was 450 to 550 grams of protein daily for 15 years straight. Probably overkill, right? Probably overkill. But I would never go lesser, because in my mind, it's better to have more and let the body convert some into glucose if need be. I was on very low fats all the time, so my calories are from protein and carbs.
That's wild, man. 400 to... And I'm pretty sure Chris told me too, at one point, you were just like, yeah, I never had any problems with digestion, ever.
Yeah,
also.
I remember you're like, what's wrong with my digestion? I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I heard also, again, Dr. Dean was saying something about bad thing hydrochloric acid or some digestive enzymes. The only time I tried it because Charles Pollock, a good friend of mine, strength coach from Canada, we did a lot of things together. And he was like, man, why don't you just like take a couple of bacon when you have the big old steak and, see if you can tell the difference. And I mean, would I use it? Absolutely. Would I buy it for that crazy expensive price? Like when you said, Chris, you could only afford 4 units, right? It's not really anabolic hormone. It's more anti-catabolic and fat burning. Okay. And for that reason, it has its purpose. Yeah. You interestingly told me just now that you use IGF-1, obviously.
LR3.
Yeah, long R3, right? This is the reason why we are using a GH4, to get that IGF elevation later. So might as well using a IGF-1. And I think I said that formula back on our podcast, Chris. You remember 0.7 units per kilo per week. That was in all these journals back in the Eastern Bloc countries back in the day, DDR and Romania, Russia, Bulgaria. That's how much athletes were using therapeutic dosage. So if you're 100 kilos, that makes 240 pounds. That makes it 10 units a day. Right?
I couldn't handle it. My hands would fall off. They feel so
probably. But I would use it for sure.
Now, do you think GH is worth it?
I think GH is worth it, but I have some people that, I don't know, after some, oh my God, dude, what? Siri, stop. Siri just started typing everything I was saying. That's okay. I've just had some conversations with some recently, trying to think of all the people that I've had conversations discussing this with. So I think Dom Super Slice. Last person was Justin Harris. An interesting convo with Joe Palacios, but it was more anecdotal. Basically, from a lot of these guests, it seems like maybe it isn't a good idea to just take GH at like for 8+ units year round, every single day, for multiple years on end.
I agree with that.
That doesn't seem to be as beneficial. It seems like if you do use GH, then lower than those doses, and then maybe, for example, do it during a certain period of time, or don't inject it 3 times a day. And
no, I agree.
Yeah. Like Justin Harris, for example, feels like GH is actually good short term as in like over the course of the next year, or the next couple years or something. But he feels like long term, say over the course of 10 years or even 15 years, feels like the high dose use of GH is what's causing a lot of like proportional changes in a lot of these bodybuilders that aren't so appealing.
Yeah, I agree. No, I totally agree. I totally agree with all that.
It's that ketogenic. I mean, you're even risk diabetes with the long-term high dosage GH alone. Yeah. And that's why I was taking it as such, because doctors were giving to the parents of the dwarfs, right? And telling them that, okay, you have to use it on empty stomach, like 45 minutes to an hour before meal, or postprandial 2 hours after, because we don't want to have interaction with insulin and GH at the same time. So this is what stuck in my head. But then I had a pro bodybuilder, Sandra Hofer, I believe, and he sent me all these studies and like, plasma half-life, but there's not actual. And Dr. Dean was saying actually it's hours later, 2, 3, 4 hours later, so then it won't make sense. So I don't really know what is plasma half-life anymore and what it is used for. You have that
do a zombie squat properly. If you can do a zombie squat properly with like 225 or 185 and it's perfect technique, you have good hip and ankle mobility. And I would think, honestly, that's number one, because if you have that, you're going to be able to do every single leg machine there is and make sure you feel it. When people are like, oh, I can only do these 3 machines, it's probably because their hip mobility is so shit and their ankle mobility is so crap, they're stuck with only 3 machines. So number one, that. And 2, dude, I think basic stuff, a squat variation, a leg press variation, a lunge variation. Like, I think they're great movements. And if you do them correctly and you're working on full range of motion and control.
Zombie squats. Yeah, the mechanics. But any squatting movement, doesn't matter if it's hex squat, the V squat, Smith machine squat, any squat, whatever. Once you start lowering yourself, you have to literally feel when the knife is stick in your quad, when you feel that burn, right? And then when you start feeling that burn, you need to turn that knife left and right and make that burn, intensify maximally. So once you start feeling that burn, out of that pain zone. If
Many of you are aware of the hilarity unfolding with 2 of the dumbest creationists on the planet, Jay Dyer and Jim Bob. Well, the comedy continues, and you will be genuinely stunned as to how they managed to dig themselves even deeper. So get ready for some laughs. If you're unaware of the context here, a couple months ago I did a reaction video laughing at a few different dumb creationist videos. One of them featured these 2 jerks, Jay Dyer and Jim Bob. They're both science-illiterate loser apologists who pretend that science is wrong because it hurts their feelings. You know the type. Jay got big mad that I made fun of him, so he made this unbelievably pathetic response video where he listens to 3 minutes out of my 30-minute reaction and basically just keeps pausing it and mocking me in a super racist Jew voice, since that's what intellectuals do.
What's the problem, you stupid believers in God? You don't know what anything is. Well, you don't know.
Isn't this exactly what like Professor Dave promotes, since he's like this pro-Palestinian cuck dipshit?
Finding this to be ideal fodder for an easy slam dunk response, last week I made a video crapping on his pointless cope fest, and boy did he and his loser cult get their panties in a bunch about it. The day I released that video, I briefly joined a live stream on another channel to talk about it, and the other loser, Jim Bob from the initial reaction video, insisted to be let on to debate me. I obliged and proceeded to curb stomp him for 30 minutes. I posted that as well, but in case you missed it, here are a few fun snippets.
So I'm asking if you know anything about embryonic development, which is where new mutations can express themselves as new functionality, new structures, new things. Do you know anything about that process?
Well, no, I would disagree with that. What
do you mean you disagree with that?
Web feet is that? Wait, hold. Is that a dysfunction or a function?
If you live in the water, it's a function.
Whether or not that be an advantage or not, and your answer was we would look to see if it's an advantage.
Because nobody is determining anything. It's called natural selection. Mutations that confer a survival advantage are selected for. It's statistical dynamics. Nobody is deciding anything. If you don't understand that, you don't understand literally the first thing about evolutionary biology. A population doesn't spontaneously develop a new thing. It's an individual.
It's an if.
Okay, so if magic, that has fucking nothing to do with science, what's my response? You want to learn how new morphology arises. So I'm talking about mutations and embryonic development. Would you like to have that conversation? Or do you want to keep shitting your pants about what modern humans do?
Well, how would you determine it's an advantage or a mutation that's a disadvantage? How would you determine that?
If it lives longer, if it helps it survive.
Wait, how would you determine that?
It swims faster.
Okay, so what part of the process transfers that web foot mutation to its offspring based on selection?
What do you mean, what process? Do you understand how reproduction works? You understand that the offspring gets its genome from the parents, right?
With the combined
DNA? more like does not ass. DNA doesn't exist. Where's that in the Bible? Fucking retard. Dude, it's just, how the fuck can you say things like this if you've gone through public school? Like, even a shitty public school education would let you know some of this crap.
Devastation of those two videos, both of these turds and their cult followers, which, if I may say, are the most pathetic, delusional, reality-denying, insufferable turd burglars I've ever had the displeasure of being aware of, have been in an absolute non-stop tailspin. Video after video, live stream after live stream, endless loser troll comments on my content they're too afraid to watch, doing nothing but regurgitating the script their masters gave them, in what is undoubtedly the most massive cope fest in human history. First, Jim Bob was desperate to farm the half-hour massacre for absolutely anything he could spin into a win, and he settled on this. That's right, a thumbnail of me with a big, presumably Jewish nose, and a 1-minute clip from the end of the beatdown where I explained that biological systems do not have any inherent purpose since they are not designed like man-made objects are, and he couldn't understand that because he's stupid. Pretty impressive, huh? Let's rewatch what Jim Bob is so proud of.
Mutation is random, natural selection is not.
Okay, so then would you agree that from your perspective that the brain was a process of random mutations, produced by random mutations?
Brains in general and every other organ and every other aspect of all life ever, yes.
Okay, so then, and it wasn't developed for any purpose, right?
No, not any inherent purpose, but it serves, it is useful, right? Animals with brains have processing ability, and then especially humans, we have this huge frontal lobe that is capable of all kinds of complex.
I understand, but you would say that your brain has no real purpose, right?
It has no inherent purpose. I use it for the purpose of thinking.
Okay, but it's not made for the purpose of thinking.
There is no God that on purpose made things with the purpose that...
I didn't say God. No, God doesn't exist in this hypothetical.
Okay.
I just want you to understand from your view.
Then you would agree that nothing would have any kind of inherent purpose from a higher power. If it's all chance, then there's no inherent purpose to anything other than what proliferates due to conferring a survival advantage.
And so why would I listen to sounds coming from a purposeless brain?
Because I'm right.
It's cute when the frauds I humiliate brag to their fans about...
So that he literally reverted to some of his pre-sup nonsense.
How badly I humiliated them is
like he did some of that shit with me. It's like, well, why does any of this matter then if God doesn't exist? Like, that has nothing to do with whether evolution is real.
Isn't it? Then what about Jay? What stupidity was he able to muster up? First, he decided to whine about trans people, obviously. He thinks men can become women. Epstein stuff. And you know every last one of his idiot followers is a MAGA chode, so the irony of this angle will never not be hilarious. Then what? Ooh, look at this little gem. Professor Dave isn't a real professor, and atheism is a psyop. Holy fuck, this ought to be good.
Professor Dave, who, by the way, isn't actually a professor, and I looked into what he actually is. He has a BA, not knocking a BA, but he has a degree now in education, apparently. He's not actually a tenured professor. He's not actually a teaching professor at a university. He said, yes, I did teach a semester at a trade school. Oh, a trade school? You mean like where they teach HVAC and VCR repair? So he taught chemistry a semester at a trade school. Bob Vance, heating and air. Dude was over there lecturing next to Bob Vance.
It's so cute when they do
Oh my
this,
God,
and always with the
idiot.
action movie soundtrack, of course. The reality of your incompetence isn't exciting enough, eh, moron? Unsurprisingly, he is pulling all of this completely out of his ass. There is no clip of me saying I taught a semester anywhere. That's why he's not telling you where he heard this, because he didn't. I taught organic chemistry at the Southern California University of Health Sciences from April 2010 to October 2013. That's 3.5 years for anyone who can't do the math, Jay. Yes, it's a trade university. No, they don't teach VCR repair. Health sciences, dumbass. The sciences specifically pertaining to medicine and health. It's in the name of the school. My students were mainly adult postbacks taking care of prerequisites they didn't take as undergrads in order to apply for various medical programs. Is the place fucking MIT? No, and I don't wave it around for any kind of prestige. It's a university that exists. I taught there as a job. My channel was initially just my university organic chemistry lectures.
Okay,
that's why I chose that name. And every time you losers whine about it, you're just announcing that you have zero ability to refute anything I say, hence the transparent ad hominem. See how smart people can actually use that term correctly?
And he's like, now people are saying that he uses a lot of AI and other professors write his videos for him, so he doesn't even write the videos.
So is it AI or is it other professors?
What does any of this have to do with whether or not evolution exists? Like, if I was to make a video about Jay Dyer or Jim Bob, like, did you guys know that I actually talked to somebody that he went to school with in the 7th grade, and one time he peed his pants on the school bus and everybody called him Poopy Pee Pants for 3 weeks after that happened? Is this the type of person you're going to listen to on religion? A pee pee poo poo pants idiot? Like...
Dipshit, make up your mind. I don't use AI.
I don't know how they don't realize, like, all of this just makes them look so much dumber.
And for topics way outside of my expertise, I hire experts in the field to write the scripts. I studied chemistry, so I wrote the scripts for chemistry and adjacent topics, like biochemistry, biology, math, physics, astronomy, and more. To expand beyond that, I have to utilize the expertise of others. It's not that hard to understand. You're basically just whining about the fact that I don't know literally everything, which nobody does, and I never claim to. And you're upset that I employ qualified people to produce top-notch educational content, because you're a fucking idiot who is endlessly hostile towards knowledge and education.
Is it any wonder why he does not want to do a debate? He says, I will never debate philosophy. I only talk science.
You ran your mouth about evolution, shit for brains. You pretended like you know how to talk science. Then I took a big dump on you and showed everyone what a science-illiterate moron you are. Cry about it.
To give you an idea of the science that we're talking about, Professor Dave is an ally and an advocate for men becoming women and women becoming men. So what does that tell you about your science stand?
It tells you that I'm not a worthless bigot transphobe like you and all your dumbfuck followers. Trans people don't become anything. They're born with a sex and a gender identity that don't align. I would direct you to my numerous videos explaining the biology of trans people, but you
I still don't know what any of that has to do with evolution. So because he disagrees with him on trans people, he's wrong about evolution existing? It's fucking retarded, dude.
The actor who Dina is based off of in the game had a few things to say about The Last of Us Season 2.
Ellie is super smart. What? Characterization of Ellie being dumb is weird. That's wild. Every time that song got played, I thought about Joel and I would cry. But because we spent the entire last episode or two just not even thinking about him too much, in my humble opinion, and I know nothing, okay, and I'm not a writer, we could have started the episode there. She didn't need to be triangulating. Ellie didn't need to be dumb. Oh, this is awful. I don't like that Ellie's being characterized as like unintelligent. I'll tell you what I really don't like. I don't like that when Jesse showed up, they were not instantly relieved and grateful.
What do you think about...
I cannot get over how bad The Last of Us HBO series is. Oh my god, it's just so awful.
You didn't even watch the videos I made on you, so that would be a waste of time now, wouldn't it?
Young men are not catechized, and men are, of course, meant to be the leaders in society, and when men fail to lead, or when they are severely repressed and oppressed by a oligarchical, degenerate culture and society, as we presently are, men retreat and become feminized and live in fantasy worlds, etc., etc.
Grr, women bad. Man not be like bad woman. Man be good like man. Oligarch bad, except...
Well, women are horrible.
For ultra-wealthy Christian nationalists eroding the separation of church and state, that good. I get the feeling that most of these losers wouldn't be such insufferable bigots if they could actually get a woman to have sex with them.
And they get psyoped by the psyop of psyops, namely atheism. And as you know, my thesis seems to be more and more vindicated, that mainline atheism was a top-down psyop. And especially all of the info that comes out with Jeff Stein McGeffrey, what do you know, as we said, the top so-called rationalist atheists are hanging out with and flying on the planes of Jeff Stein McGeffrey, which, by the way, are CIA planes for 3 decades, as we now know.
Atheism is a psyop. A lack of belief in gods that don't exist is a plot from the government that started before the government existed. Can't beat that logic. And again, anytime these evangelical asshats try to play the buddies with Epstein game, they're just setting themselves up for titanic levels of self-delusion, since most of Trump's inner circle is on there, and Trump himself is the record holder for most mentions by an order of magnitude. If you want to toss away scholars and intellectuals for this reason, you go right ahead and throw them under the bus. Just make sure to dump literally the entire roster of MAGA leadership along with them, and I won't say a word. Will you go on the record condemning Trump? I bet you won't.
And it appears that they were also, Ghislaine apparently was a high-tier Reddit mod with like 14,000 posts in the Reddit atheist sphere. Of course, Professor Dave is the literal incarnation of Reddit. So
there's nothing funnier than all of these douchebags getting constantly triggered by the existence of a website. It's a place where some people say smart things that debunk their entire fragile worldview, so it's the devil. I don't even use Reddit, dipshit. This is all you have, since you can't engage with anything scientific and won't even try. I could call you Craigslist homosexual casual encounters if I want. It's not an argument, but I might start doing that anyway.
Well, we know who actually created science, and I don't think y'all are ready to have this conversation. So yeah, well, Yakub McGeffrey. So y'all ain't ready for this conversation?
You know who created science? Would that be fucking Aristotle, dumbass? This brain-dead loser is trying to pretend that literally the entire edifice of science is an evil plot from the CIA. It's impossible to get dumber than this.
Dave is the perfect representative of a person raised on that. He believes, of course, that his position is rational, it's logical, he's against these silly religious people, and he's so much smarter than everyone else, but he can't even formulate an actual argument. That's what I've noticed in watching several clips. Is, yeah, if the debate was about whether Dave has learned some basic chemistry, I'm sure Dave would do good. But that was never the question. The question was, you're venturing into the domain of metaphysics and philosophy without even realizing it.
No, I explain basic biology, and you dipshits just crap your pants and cry. Biology isn't philosophy. You just want to turn everything you don't understand into philosophy so you can pretend to understand it. You have zero ability to refute anything I've ever said and have never tried even a single time.
Derek seems to be the most butthurt out of all this, and he, together with Gnostic Informant, did a victory lap video after Dave made yesterday's video, calling me a bunch of poop joke names. It's a bunch of really low tier Reddit. Like Reddit people, if you don't know, they're like obsessed with anuses.
I'm obsessed with anuses. Jack, don't tell us what's going on with the foot in the end.
Yeah, buddy!
I hate this guy. Such a stupid fucking dumbass. I don't know, some weird leg cramp where he lost balance. It's one of those. Thanks for the donation, Jack.
They're all about anuses, the air that expels out of anuses, putting things in anuses, women becoming men so that they can go into the anus.
Yeah, I love putting things up girls' butts. It's great. Yeah, I wish I could put something up a girl's butt right now. I think I have some carrots in the fridge.
That's really all they're into.
Yeah, I didn't reference anuses anywhere at all, and I don't use Reddit. But more importantly, what body parts are you closeted shit sniffers obsessed with again?
Penis, fully functioning penis.
1/8 of a PP.
Penis that you have now. Different kinds of penises.
PP and the testicles?
Penis, temporary penis, proto-penis.
1/8 of a PP.
Penises in the world. Penises, penisness, penis.
PP comes to BPP.
You hate to see people deny their sexual orientation just because of the religious ideology they've been brainwashed with, huh?
Try to investigate their worldview. You find out they're actually pseuds. They're not actually educated. Now, when I say educated, I don't mean did you study chemistry at a community college. No, I'm talking about actually educated in the ability to argue, to have good discourse, to have good communication skills, and to make your case. Rhetoric, logic.
I got my chemistry degree at one of the most prestigious institutions in the nation, kiddo. You're allergic to reality. You're also a fucking idiot who couldn't put an argument together if his life depended on it. That's why you just shit your pants and whine in a racist Jew voice.
That's exactly what we just heard Professor Dave argue. Because I say so.
Because I say so? I didn't say that. You mean the part at the end where dumb fuck Jim Bob asked why he should listen to me even though my brain doesn't have some magic purpose from his imaginary god? He should listen to me because I'm right and he could learn something. So that's what I told him. If you want to be a big boy and tell me where I'm wrong in that exchange or in any of my content literally anywhere ever, you could give that a shot. But we both know your dumb fuck face can't do that, right?
When I talked to Derek in DMs asking him for a public debate, he's essentially affirmed the same thing. I'm not going to debate philosophy. It's not my field. However, I will assert that Christianity is not true, and I'd be happy to assert Christianity is not true on a stream with you, and you can come on my stream. So this is how fragile and arrogant grown men are. Yeah, exactly in the chat.
Said the fragile toddler throwing a tantrum because he's completely incapable of debating either science or religion. Why don't you want to participate in a debate to defend your religious beliefs, kiddo? Oh, because you can't, since you're stupid. Same reason you run like a little bitch from scientific debate? Typical. Anyway, if you were to assume that was the end of it, you won't believe how wrong you would be. Of course, his little tantrum about me was part of a 6-hour live stream, so that gives you an idea of how much bullshit this douchebag can spew in one sitting. Guess who else had a marathon live stream? Jim Bob. Not a Professor Dave is cooked, while you can still hear the sizzle coming from where I spanked him like a misbehaving toddler in the 1950s. His live stream was only 5.5 hours long, though. He doesn't quite have the stamina for douchebaggery that Jay has. What did he talk about for 5.5 hours, you ask? It was a non-stop whine fest about me, naturally. Here are just a handful of snippets, since nobody in the world should be subjected to this.
So I saw that Professor Dave, he is just spurging and coping, and his scientismo evolutionary cult is losing it. They don't like that, upwards to about 300,000 people are seeing their priest say that his own brain has no purpose.
The moron who is about to spend 5.5 hours coping and seething thinks that I'm coping and seething because I posted the full interaction he wishes he never got, because this loser can't crack more than...
The problem is that the purpose of everything else in your body, as far as proper function, there's no such thing as proper function. That's the point.
Said the clueless moron who is still missing the point. Everything in your body functions, dumbass. Every organ, every cell. Function does not equal purpose. Purpose implies intent. Man-made objects have a purpose because they were designed with intent. Biological systems were forged by blind natural processes. They exist because they have functional utility that is continuously selected for. Your pathetic attempt at passing off
Well, that's not entirely true. Like, there's sexual selection, not just natural selection. There's also just genetic drift and shit like that.
Your own stupidity as some kind of win with the brain bit is the most pathetic thing imaginable. Brains have function. I use mine to dunk on your dumb face. Your brain sucks, so you can only use it to whine and pretend that mental masturbation with random philosophical jargon qualifies as intellect. It doesn't.
And so he's coping. Obviously, I'm not even going to watch it. I saw the title of it, and you don't need me to tell you how bad faith not Professor Dave is. But I want you to notice that my invitation to him, my challenge to him for a debate preceded all of these interactions.
What in the sweet fuck to debate me on that live stream? You got what you wanted. Here he is pretending that he challenged me to a debate and that I declined. That's funny. My email inbox is suspiciously such a delusional asshat. You'd have voice. Mental masturbation.
Yeah. That's pretty dumb. Oh, all of that is pretty dumb.
DOJ to cover for this administration's Epstein connections, but none as shameless as this. The DOJ just sent Congress a 6-page letter explaining their redactions to the Epstein files, and buried in that letter is a list of all government officials and politically exposed persons who appear in the release materials. But what they decided to do was combine those who are implicated with Jeffrey Epstein's crimes with those who are just in the files because of a passing mention or because of their efforts to actually expose Epstein's crimes. The DOJ explicitly states that people appear on this list if their name shows up at least once in the files. But what that could mean is they had extensive direct email contact with Jeffrey Epstein himself, or, and this is important, it can mean they were mentioned only in a portion of a document, including press reporting.
I am pretty exhausted. And it's not just from zooting, just today was frustrating. The amount of work just to get the bike running. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, the amount it's too much. So I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm gonna go to bed. And then tomorrow, hopefully my elbow is good enough to work out. Try to do a back workout. So hopefully my elbow gets better. But big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna go to sleep. Hope you all have sweet dreams, and I'll see you all tomorrow.